It's a flying object that we don't recognize. I hope somebody's checking it out. I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
So you said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1 0 1 1 1 0 1 1 6 3 2 9 7.
Media doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from the secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial street highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled generations on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness. Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and I'm here with your co-host, Ash. And we would like to say hello to all of you who might also have troubled minds. What's up, guys? You know the deal? This show is live, so if you want to be part of the show tonight, you can't unless you join the Discord. The phone lines are down for some reason, but we are reading comments as always, and we are taking callers on Discord, let's say. Callers is a good way to put it. So if you want to join the show, the way to do it, go to troubleminds.org, click the Discord link. There's also a Discord link in the chat at the top of Facebook there. I'll link it in the chat as we go. But yeah, that's what's happening. That's what's going down tonight. It's show night. What is it? Tuesday night. Tuesday night means show night. And tonight, we're going to talk about all sorts of things. Like always, we're going to do some news, and then we're going to do some witches. We're going to talk about Wiccan a little bit. We're going to talk about spells, and maybe how to cast spells, and how spells are cast, and how people say, well, let's just say the stereotypes of witches. That's what's on deck tonight. So if you guys know anything about that, perfect. We'd love to hear from you. And again, that's why we do it live, so we can include you. So please do the chat, do the things, go to troubleminds.org, click the Discord link, and you can join the show that way. And we're going to talk about that tonight. But otherwise, this show is normally about, as you know, if you're not new here, you know that we talk about aliens, conspiracy, paranormal. We talk about the 24-hour news cycle. We talk about the technocracy. We talk about all that stuff. Censorship. We talk about... yeah, all of that. And here we are doing more of that. And we got some, that's what we got. That's what we got. All right, so we're going to do something a little different, see if this works. Ladies and gentlemen, your co-host, Ash. Let's play the music.
Welcome, guys, and thanks for joining us at Troubled Minds. Join us on a journey as we explore the nature of reality, as we cast off the shackles of our Illuminati overlords. We may not have all the answers, or any, but we offer you a seat at our table. Let's hang out. Let's talk about weird stuff. What do we got going on today? Witches? Monkeys? Got all kinds of stuff. What do you think, Mike?
Perfect. Oops, that should have faded out. That was terrible. All right, well, we'll get it right next time. We'll get it.
Yeah, we'll get it next time. Next time, it's fine. We're working on it.
All right. Let's go. Let's see. I don't see anybody complaining about the sound. We hopefully fixed some sound stuff, right? We've had trouble with the audio and trying to get when we had callers call in. Ash couldn't hear him. They couldn't hear Ash. We've had these problems literally since the beginning of the damn show years ago, 2 years ago now almost. But last night I think we got it all fixed up, and then just in time the phone lines go down, so we can't even get you on the phone to test it. All right. So anyway, let us know how the audio sounds. If it sounds like Ash for whatever reason, sounds like Ash for whatever reason, then we'll.
There's the jokes from last week.
we started with the jokes already. Then we'll try and figure out as we go. But I think everything is good. I think everything should sound good. We did some tests and some new stuff and yada yada yada, so on and so forth. Okay, so we will do shout outs in just a second here, and that's what's on deck. We're gonna do some witchcraft tonight and some other stuff. So if you guys know anything about that, casting spells and maybe some so on and so forth, we'll read the chat, and then you can also join us on troubleminds.org. Click the Discord link, and you can get in there and be on the show that way. Okay, so I tried to what did I try and do here? I tried to send out there we go, a blast to everybody, and it wouldn't let me. Something locked up. There it is. All right, sent out on the Discord server. Okay, I've never been locked out of my own Discord server, but whatever. It just happened. All right, here we go. Shots fired. Yeah, what's up, Trigger Happy? How you doing? Okay, so we got Todd gets first on Facebook. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for showing up. Listening at work, he says. Sean, our favorite Canadian. How you doing, buddy? We got Chad. What's up? The Chad is back. Paul, how you doing? Let's see. Darius, Moo. What's happening? Benjamin, what's happening? Caesar, let's get this show started. You got it, buddy. John, what's good? Mike and Ash, you already know. Aliens, conspiracy, and paranormal.
Man? That's right.
Jose from Phoenix, how you doing, my man? We got John from Edinburgh, Texas. Thanks for showing up. Benjamin, any new sightings of UFO or aliens? I'm sure. It's all over the place. Elisha, downright spooky, Mulder. All right, thanks for showing up. And let's see, we got Noble Kal-El on Mixer. Thank you for showing up. Always there first and ready to go. Death and Styles on YouTube. How you doing, Noe from Texas? How are you? We got Grant, we got Trigger Happy J, and in Shots Fired, we got Ash Ketchum from Pokemon. I'm a big fan, brother. I'm playing. I don't even know what that I don't know the joke. What, do you know that joke?
You don't what? You don't know Ash from Palatown, man? Misty, Prop?
What the hell is that? I don't know what any of that is. I've never played Pokemon in my life. I've never played Pokemon or watched.
Mike, I'm so sorry, but I gotta go. Okay, Boomer, I gotta do it.
I'm too old for that shit. Let me just say though, here's the problem, right? When people say "Okay, Boomer," you're actually just insulting yourself, right? That's really what you're doing, because you're saying that you're more wise than your elders, and I think that's a little bit odd. I think it's a little bit weird.
I don't think it's well thought out. It's just annoying. Just say it to be annoying. That's just to piss people off. That's it.
I agree. I agree.
But 100%. I agree with you. But it's people don't like to hear that. Okay, Boomer. People don't like to hear it.
Yeah, because it's stupid. It's stupid.
It is exactly.
What's up, Terry? I see you on Facebook. Thanks for showing up. Okay, so what do I got? Why do I sound weird? What is going on here?
You sound fine, man. You got that silky voice. Right. It's fine. You're good.
Weird. There's something weird with my headphones or something. Okay, so anyway, we're going to do this. Let's do this. So we're going to jump into the news. What's up? There's a shout-outs. Yeah, Trigger Happy J says, come on, Mike, shake my head. Whoa, see, I know what SMH means. I'm not that old. All right, let's go. Let's do this. Let's do this. All right, so let's pull up the news, and we'll talk about that tonight, and then we'll get on to some of this other stuff. We'll see if witches have anything to do with aliens, right? Hopefully we'll make that link eventually as we go. Yeah, right? We
got to do aliens.
We got to do aliens. Okay, here we go. So let's do this. Before we do the monkey stuff here, let's go to abcnews.com, and they're reporting this, of course. We talked about this, but they're clamping down the censorship wagon, right? We have that pandemic brewing across the world and spreading out all over the place with the Kung Flu, the coronavirus, the novel coronavirus. And this is the headline reads: Facebook, Twitter, and Google take steps to stop spread of coronavirus conspiracy theories. Right? We talked about this previously, but this continues to happen. These things keep coming out. They're saying we're clamping this shit down. Why though? Why? Like, what kind of conspiracy theories? Let's go to this one then. Let's just jump to this one, right? Censorship.
Why do you need to clamp down on conspiracy theories? Like, I don't even get it. Like, why clamp down? Like, why do you need to do that? You know what I mean? Like, let people just talk. They can talk about all kinds of stuff. What does it matter? Anyway, I don't know.
It matters if you're trying to control the narrative. That's for damn sure.
Right.
I'll drop
exactly.
drop the
right.
F-bombs.
If you're not trying to do that, then what does it matter? So it just shows it's a red flag, right? It makes me even want to investigate more.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. 100%. You were correct. Okay, so here, check this out. So speaking of those conspiracy theories, let's look at this. Reported by BusinessInsider.com, and the headline reads this: Republican senator suggests, quote, worse than Chernobyl, coronavirus could have come from Chinese super laboratory. Whoa, does that sound like a conspiracy theory to you, coming out of the mouth of a Republican senator? A super laboratory. Like, what the hell is that? Okay. All right. So we got Republican Senator Tom Cotton suggested Chinese officials misled the public on the origins of the novel coronavirus from Wuhan, China, saying it may have originated in that super laboratory. And let's see. Of course, it says Cotton, a longtime China hawk, suggested Beijing had not been as forthcoming about the number of infections and was lying about it from the very beginning. No shit.
No, really?
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
They wouldn't do that. China? No.
Yeah, China.
Come
Exactly.
On, crazy.
Yeah, you're crazy. We're all crazy. We're all crazy. You crazy kids. You boomers. You dirty boomers. All right. So we got so that's what he's saying. Chinese officials have been accused of lowering the number of cases and tamping down on reports weeks before it was formally acknowledged by the government. Quote, they also claimed for almost 2 months until earlier this week that it originated in a seafood market in Wuhan, Cotton said, referring to a study published by The Lancet. This is not the case, he says. So think about this. He's an actual senator, and he's claiming that this virus is man-made and came from a super laboratory in China. What the hell's that? So is he just talking out his ass like most politicians do? Or do you think he has inside information, and he's kind of like inadvertently leaking it like a knucklehead? What do you think about that, Ash? Ash? Whoa.
Well, that's interesting. If it's kind of like this guy he has experience with dealing with foreign relations, and he mingles with senators, military. He's privy to information that we're not. So he's going to have a better opinion than pretty much anyone else so far, unless it's like Trump comes out and says something, or a general, you know what I'm saying, or a Chinese official. So I mean, that's the best lead we have to go on, I would say. And why would he say such a thing? Like, what's the incentive to even say something like that? Think about that. Like, why not just keep quiet? What does it matter? Interesting.
Yeah, especially so if that's the case, right? And it was actually some sort of man-made virus here, and it escaped, or they allowed it to escape, which seems a little silly because they're building hospitals over there, which is amazing. Did you see that time lapse of the hospital? They built that hospital in 10 days or something like that. It was less than that, like an entire hospital with 1,000 beds in less than 10 days. So it was absurd.
You can hate the Chinese, but they're good at making shit really fast.
For sure.
Yeah,
that is for sure. Yeah, crazy stuff. So again, why would he say this? That's a good point. And is there something to this? Or like many politicians, is he just talking out his ass? Just saying stuff that doesn't make sense, misinformation, throwing us off the trail. Who the hell knows, right? But these are conspiracy theories that are being tamped down on Facebook, Twitter, Google, all these things, right? But here we have a senator of the United States of America saying that the coronavirus could have come from a super laboratory in China. I mean, it doesn't get much more conspiratorial than that. That's pretty insane.
Do you have more articles about the coronavirus? Do you have more of that news about it? Or?
No, sir. That's it. We got some other stuff. Why?
Okay, I heard a bunch of stuff. So let me ramble through it. So
okay.
What did I hear about the coronavirus? Okay, well, I know this, that with Trump's cabinet or presidency, there's been a prioritization of China as kind of like an enemy, right? An adversary, a competitor. And I know U.S. Steel and all those companies were like bankrupt basically, and that we've been trying to bring them back online. And so we've been using tariffs to get off that teat, right? It's like we're trying to discourage people from the one-way pipeline from China to here for goods. Well, with this virus, So let me back up. So we create all this infrastructure here. We recreate our steel mills. Stuff is firing up again. We're starting to make stuff here, but you can't get everyone to switch because they're already getting it from China. So what do you need? You need some sort of catalyst, right, to discourage people from buying from China, to start encouraging them to buy from here, like something to jolt people to change it up. And it's perfectly timed, the coronavirus. I'm not saying that's what it is, but it's perfectly timed. Even so, I get some stuff from China, product, and now I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, I don't think I can get it. It's really a mess. They don't want stuff coming in, they don't want stuff coming out. It was a holiday when it broke. It's a mess. So, like, as a byproduct, I'm like, well, I got to get it here in America, even if it's a little bit more expensive. So look at that end result, right? Was that planned? I don't know. And I heard a rumor today, and I don't know if you guys can validate this, but China's like stock, like a lot of their companies were like plunging, and that a bunch of insiders in their, either the government or whatever, injected their market with billions of dollars to prop it up, but it's like collapsing. It's really nuts. It's like, if we're at war with them, economic war, we just destroyed them, basically. And I'm not saying that's what it is, but
it could be. Well, I don't know if the two are related, but I have heard this in the recent days that their stock market is down 8% overall. And I do know this. So they've been manipulating currency for a very long time, talking about China here. And you think that we're like the United States is bad in debt, like it's what, 24 trillion now and counting or something like that. China's worse. China's in way worse debt than we are because they're just sending printed, manipulated money all around the world, right? They're buying up property everywhere. They've got they control both sides of the Panama Canal, all this stuff. The Belt and Road Initiative, it's pretty much buy up everything, right? And that's what they're doing. And so yeah, they are economically what would you call them?
Unstable.
Unstable. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And they are. That is true.
Fragile.
That stuff is true. And so if this took an 8% blow overall to an entire country of billions of people, billion plus people, then that's crazy, right? That's a huge chunk of change right out of the economy, and not to mention how many people are going to actually die from this thing. Yeah, who knows? Right. I mean, I don't know.
It's terrible, right?
Yeah, the thing is, like, conspiratorial wise, I don't know if this is related in any manner to any of that stuff, whether it was some sort of something we did, something they did intentionally. I don't know. Like there's a lot of options here that you can talk about, but I don't buy into the without any evidence anyway that this is really happening, right? Like there's some sort of, this is released to smack down their economy. I don't know about that, but
I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying if you look at it's kind of like the whole 9/11 conspiracy, like. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. You don't know. But what did we do right after? We went into the Middle East and got oil. We did do that. So if you look at the end result, it's kind of like, hey, Mike, let me borrow some money, bro. And then it's like, oh, okay, I guess. And then I borrow some money. And then like a couple weeks later, I show up with a new car. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You have to put two and two together. So I'm not saying that's the case, but it's room for thought. It's like, it's very sketchy. So
yeah, a lot of sketchy stuff. A few more shout outs here. Thanks for showing up, guys. We got, I think I said hi to Terry there on Facebook. John, Generation X present. I need some backup. We got Douchty. I think that's how you say it. Hello, I'm new here from Boston. Hey, what's up? Thanks for showing up, Douchty. If I'm saying your name wrong, type it correctly for me. What's up, Keith? Thanks for showing up. We got, who else? Christian. Hey, what's going on? We got, who else? Thomas. It gets a little more conspiratorial. It could have come from the technological singularity that developed it in a lab. Oh, shit. There we go. New layers right there. Who knows? And then released it intentionally, like just the technological singularity just created this in a lab to maybe take on humans and then just let it go. Like dumped it in the trash. Yeah, who knows? That's the Matrix
that's a
right
movie
there.
Right there. Yeah,
exactly. That's a trilogy right there. What's up, Terry? It was on The Simpsons years ago, name and everything. Well, the coronavirus itself is the common cold, the common flu. So it's the name in and of itself isn't remarkable that it might have been on The Simpsons. I did see that, but I don't know the link. I'm not sure that we're predicting anything, though they are famous for predicting lots of things. The Simpsons are anyway. Yeah. So anyway, there we go. Let's Yeah, who else am I missing? Okay, we're everything's good. Okay, so anything else on the coronavirus there? And again, if you guys want to join the conversation, you know what to do. Troubleminds.org is the official website. Click on the Discord link. You can get in here. You can talk to Mike and Ash and everybody else that might be listening, and tell us what you think. Do you think the coronavirus is a man-made thing? Do you think this is something that maybe mutated from nature, like they said, like from bats to cobras to people, or do you think this is something completely different? Let's say an alien virus, like from X-Files. I don't know. I'm just throwing out all the possibilities. What do you guys actually think is going on here? And we'd love to hear from you. So there we go. Anything else about coronavirus there before we jump into the monkeys? What do you think?
No, let's get some monkeys.
Let's get to the monkeys. All right, let's get to the monkeys. Okay, now check this out. This is a little bit nutters. Let's start with this one, the herpy monkeys, or you want the other ones? Which monkeys you want, Ash?
Let's get to the good monkeys, the herpy monkeys, the party monkeys.
All right, the party monkeys. All right. You're up. It's on the screen.
Yeah. Okay. So, a roving band of feral herpes-ridden monkeys is roaming across Northeast Florida. So forget the Florida man, guys. We now have herpy monkeys in Florida. So the monkeys and herpes are spreading. They were found in one part of Florida. I think it's northern Florida, northeast, and they're starting to spot these monkeys more and more. And it's spreading. The herpes are spreading like wildfire. And even more worrying, over a quarter of the 300 feral macaws, an invasive species native to South and Southeast Asia, carrying herpes B, are carrying herpes B. And this is according to a 2018 survey from National Geographic. And what's funny is these monkeys were released onto an island, like a man-made island, but swam across the water to get away from the island. I guess they really wanted to get laid, and then now they're spreading herpes throughout the land, and it's just savagely going through the population there. I didn't even know there were monkeys in Florida. But yeah, it looks like there used to be a program to kill and capture monkeys to try and reduce the potential herpes population and kind of call it, but it wasn't really popular because it's kind of like monkeys are pretty intelligent animals, so it's just kind of a messed up situation. Just another Florida thing, right? So what do you think about that? Herpes monkeys.
Well, here's the thing about culling monkeys, right? They're very humanoid. And so imagine stomping on a bunch of snails is one thing, or going after anacondas and culling that population there in Florida, which they're doing. They're trying to do, but imagine taking machetes and chopping up monkeys. Right? They're not going to let you. For one, they're going to run like hell. So catching them is probably a pain in the ass, and then two, killing monkeys is just a bad optics. Herpes or not. I mean, yeah, this is crazy. So again, right? So they've got this, and they're running around, running amok. The population's growing, and then what? So what happens now? Is this one of those things that we should be aware of that could let's say they can taint a food source with not necessarily herpes, let's say, but let's say that they can do it with who knows, what other kind of things are they carrying, what's mutating. I mean, this stuff's terrifing that they're just running amok and maybe in places where people live. I mean, the wild meets the civilized world, and it makes you crazy. I don't know. Again, I don't know how much of that's possible, but seeing what we're seeing from the novel coronavirus in China, who knows? It seems like any of these things are possible these days, right? So this is pretty terrifying. So there we go. So there's herpy monkeys number one. Anything else on that? We got another one here. We got a monkey follow up.
Well, yeah, I just want to know: did Florida man have herpes and then give it to a monkey? You know what I'm saying? How did this start? Just it sucks, is right. Look at that picture of that monkey, man. That monkey is messed up, and that sucks. And they have no cure, and it's just going through the whole populace. And chill. Let's hope the Chinese and the monkeys recover. But Florida's crazy. They have anacondas and crocodiles, and they're locked in the death to try and see who's the dominant, because they're killing everything, right? They have that whole thing going on there in Florida.
Yeah, they're trying to because the anaconda is the invasive species, and the weather is perfect for them. There's swamp down there, the eternal swamp, so they're just growing, and they're all over the place. So yeah, I don't know, how do you handle this as let's say the population of people? How do you actually cull this and start, just shooting monkeys out of trees, or you know what I mean? Because they do have like hunting seasons on for the anacondas. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, something we can keep an eye on, and hopefully it doesn't become an issue. A continuing issue that spreads to people and the rest of this. It's pretty bad, pretty terrifying to think about.
Yeah.
What would be worse? What would be worse than just roving bands of I can't say it. Herpes-ridden monkeys now roaming northeast Florida? What would be worse? What would be worse, Ash? Let's go with it.
Well, we'll go to the next story. This is worse. So, by the way, Joe says, guys, I live here. The snowbirds driving kill more than the animals. Snowbirds driving.
Snowbirds are people that come from like Chicago, people that live up in the north and where it's always snowing and shit, and they want like a early spring. So they come to warm places like Arizona, Las Vegas. They go.
Oh yeah, I live in Arizona. It's the same thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
snowbirds. Yeah.
They probably go to Florida. So okay, so yeah, I see what you're saying. He's saying it's a little hyperbolic, but it's good to keep in mind that humans are kind of messing with the genetics of this planet, and we're kind of messing stuff up, right? And so that leads us to this next article. Same thing about monkeys. So this is scientists are basically modifying monkeys' DNA. Guess where this is happening? Can you guess?
China. I'm going to guess China.
Bingo!
Oh, yeah.
So you got it. For 1400 Chinese Zen or whatever it's called. I forget. I don't know. But yeah, so basically a bunch of scientists have taken a gene from the human brain that helps with short-term memory. They identified this gene, this sequence, and just like I was saying a couple shows ago, they have the ability to put a virus in you and change your DNA structure forever, right? So that's what they did. They injected these macaque.
The macaw rhesus.
Macaw, right?
The rhesus, right?
Yeah,
it's the same type of monkey as the ones in Florida.
Crazy with herpes.
Yeah.
Who knows, man? Like maybe the Chinese
type.
dumped them there after they got herpes from a side effect.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Well, so anyway, they injected these 11 embryos. So these are transgenic monkeys with this virus. It changed their genome. And so they're like 2 to 3 years old. They're already performing better on memory tests than any monkey that's ever existed. And so they claim that the research is basically because the human brain went through like a sizable growth period, and they don't really know what the hell happened. It was like a really quick thing. I think we as a consensus probably think it's aliens or Anunnaki or something. But so they just shoved it in some monkeys, and they're just seeing what happens. And it just really reminds me of like Planet of the Apes shit, And it's like we had talked about the Anunnaki and how they made humans. And at some point in the Anunnaki story in the Sumerian tablets, they created this slave race, which was us. This is supposedly, right? And that they were scared. They were too smart for their own good, and there was enough of them, and they were strong enough that they were scared it would get out of hand. And I'm wondering if history is repeating itself. Are we modifying the monkey, and is it gonna is it gonna turn into Planet of the Apes? And then they're gonna give us herpes. So
there you go. I was gonna say the only thing more terrifying than smart monkeys, is like Planet of the Apes styles and smart monkeys with herpes. I think we have a serious problem here. Let's see. What's up? Kevy Levy on YouTube says everything crazy happens in Florida, and apparently China by extension. So they're monkey cousins. They either have herpes or they're super smart. This is crazy stuff, and this is the type of stuff that happens typically in China, right? They're doing all these crazy tests that we talk about all the time, and trying to expose this, trying to get the word out there. Like look at the actual ethics violations that are happening there constantly, but we don't. For some reason, it seems to be everybody shrugs their shoulders, right? I mean, they're a sovereign country, and what would you do? You'd have to kick in the doors with boots and guns. But I mean, you could put pressure on them financially from the world, right, to maybe stop killing their own people, stop putting the Muslims in camps, and these types of things. The social credit score where people just disappear. Speaking of which, some dirty shit in China. Let's go back to that just real fast. We got a couple more articles here, and then we'll get into witches. But just real fast, they're saying that when people die of the coronavirus in China now, they're not allowed a proper burial. They don't actually give the bodies back to their families. It's taken straight from the hospital down to a crematorium and just smoked. That's it.
Damn.
That's what's happening. So you don't even know. Like somebody goes into a hospital, you don't know if you're going to get them back. And period, they're dead or alive, they're gone. And so that's what's happening there. They're saying 90% of the staff's working 20 hours a day, something like that, at the crematories in China, in Wuhan, China, anyway, where the outbreak happened. And they're overwhelmed with bodies at this point.
I imagine.
And cremations. But the problem is that doesn't match the numbers. Again, they're being reported, right? Because it's just a couple hundred dead or something like that at this point. I don't know. Like, would that keep 90% of the employees working 20 hours a day and like backed up out the door with cremations? I don't know. Joe, our buddy from Florida, could probably fill us in on cremations and that stuff. But let's see. Joe, here's Joe. He says, "Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I have cremated so many people." There you go. So what are your thoughts on that?
Was that a me reference? I'm not sure anymore.
No. Oh yeah, exactly.
Okay,
no, that would be asses to asses, dust to dust. It's different.
That's right. It's got to be an ass joke.
It's got to be an ass joke. All right. So anyway, that's what's supposedly happening in China. So there we go. Anyway, just wanted to throw that in. Let's move on to this one. This is futurism.com.
So before we move on, I actually just remembered something I heard today. My friend, she is Chinese, and she came back. She not recently, but she goes back and forth to China and factories and all kinds of stuff. She was saying that if you're a household, and this is if you're in the area, right? If you're around that place, you can only send one person out on behalf of your family, and that they're boarding up houses and stuff. Like they're quarantining you, and then they're boarding your shit up, and then you're only allowed to send one person out. That's pretty nuts. That's crazy. There's this movie called Wreck where there's like they quarantine people because of a zombie virus. It's just like that. It's pretty insane. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's martial law, right? That's pretty crazy. You're not allowed to get out because you're going to be spreading it to the rest of the population. I don't know. So some of the stories we're hearing, it sure seems like it's a lot worse than the reporting, right? And this is the problem, right? A friend of mine and I were talking about this earlier today, and we were like, okay, you can't really believe what they're telling you about it. But the thing is, right? If it's nothing to see here, they always hype it up because they want to scare the piss out of you, right? They want to keep the malevolent reporting going to keep you on edge, right? All these crazy things. But then when it gets too big, they don't do that anymore. They start to downplay it. And I think maybe we're at that point where the media swings the other way, and they're suppressing the actual information that's coming out of there. And some of it's terrifying.
Oh, it's true.
Right?
That's
true. So it swings.
Yeah.
So you can't believe him either way, but I'm just saying when they start to downplay it is probably when you should start to get worried. So one man's opinion, what can you say? But there we go. I don't know. I have no idea. But
two mans. So I'm with you. Two mans.
All right, you're with me. All right, we got two mans. Two mans right here. Two mans. Yeah. No, I tried to squeeze an ass joke in there. I couldn't get it done. Okay, Benjamin, what's up?
Fire with these ass jokes today.
Hey man, they're too good. They're too good. Benjamin, what's up?
Says too good.
Yeah. So Benjamin said on Facebook says, I don't know, but I hear there's been a case in Zacatecas of coronavirus, but not sure. I've heard it's all over the place. It's supposedly 3 in California now. We had one that was not confirmed in Vegas here, and then he was quarantined in a hospital for a few days, and then it turned out to not be the coronavirus. It was something else. So I mean, it's all over the place. Oh, and I did see, just to be complete on this, on the things that I've seen reported regarding the coronavirus, real quick, is that from one source, I saw one source say that they've determined that it cannot be passed on without symptoms. That's been backtracked because they determined that the case where that happened, there actually were symptoms, and they didn't detect it. Oops, that's me smacking the mic around. But yeah, so anyway,
it sounds like an instrument, like a African.
Yeah, like a drum. You could do that. You just bang on the mic like this, like. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't fuck. Damn it, Ash. Ass. Damn it, ass. All right. Anyway, so let's move on to this next one. Okay, we got. And we'll get to witches here. So this is reported by Futurism.com. Check this out. This is pretty crazy. This is several climate change simulations just snapped into doomsday mode. Right. Doomsday mode. Right. There we go. Okay, so several models predicting the future of climate change has taken a drastic turn for the worse. Multiple research teams are now forecasting that the planet will heat up more catastrophically than previously anticipated. The changes are so dire that some researchers are doubting their own work, according to Bloomberg. And finally they realize, holy shit, guys, do you think our work could be wrong? Finally, they slow down and think about it. Okay, it continues. But as simulations hold up, they convey a clear message. In order to stave off the worst of climate change, world leaders will need to take strong action soon. Okay. Anyway, so they're climate alarmism.
More money.
More money.
Yep.
Exactly.
We got a strong action. Send in your bills. Gas.
The triple green New Deal. Send us all your money. Yeah. Okay. So instead of that, like I said, the climate alarmism has snapped into a different doomsday mode. So much so that maybe they're thinking they're wrong. Finally. Anyway, I thought it was funny to point that out. Okay, one more, and then we'll move on to witches. Check this out, guys.
Cool.
This is crazy. Reported by TheVerge.com. And this is what we talk about often on this show, that people at the top end of power, the elite, they just don't live by the same rules. Okay, it's obvious, but you want obvious examples? Here we go. Jeff Bezos paid more than $16,000 in parking tickets while renovating his DC mansion. Right, more than 564 citations were issued, and it was basically from ignoring no parking signs. Yeah. So he paid $23 million for the property, $12 million reno happening to it, and so there were, whatever, like people working on it, him showing up or having his probably assistant show up to keep an eye on the construction, the renovations, and so they were just parking wherever the hell they wanted, blocking off the street because he's Jeff Bezos, right? And he's the richest man in the world. And so he's just like, whatever, shrug it off. Go ahead and park, guys. I'll pay the parking tickets. And that's kind of my point. Back to that climate change just before that we were talking about. It's the same thing, right? Like we are limited because we can't do this. Normal people don't have the resources to do these types of things. But these guys can just flaunt the law and say whatever the F and do whatever they want. And they can always buy their way out of it. And that's kind of the point. And this is, again, like a very specific example. But imagine what the hell else this guy's doing, where money's going to flaunt the law, where to bribe this, to bribe that. Now, I'm not accusing him. Don't sue me or send your goons after me, Mr. Bezos. But what it leads you to speculate. These people know what they can get away with and how they can get away with it, and that's by throwing dollars around. And so here's a perfect example: $16,000 on parking tickets while renovating his DC mansion. Yeah, what the hell, right?
I mean, Professor X is looking good. That's a nice clean suit. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, it does look pretty good. I agree.
No,
Joe, what's up?
It's crazy. I actually visited a friend in San Francisco, and he was a very wealthy guy, and he was tough to even get to him, and so we parked in an awkward place, and it was like a really nice area, right? If you've ever been to San Francisco, there's terrible areas, and then there's where the rich people live, and it's really nice, and there's a view and all this kind of stuff. And he had a beautiful home and everything. Well, I wake up and I go down, and the guy's giving me a ticket, and it was for like $80 or something. I was like, $80? And I tried to argue with him, like, man, that's kind of steep. I'm right here. And he goes, well, if you don't have the money, then you can't be here. And that was pretty good advice. It was a pretty stern piece of reality. If you don't have the money, we don't want you here. And it's crazy.
Yeah, get out. Or I wonder if you're like, well, what if I just pay you $80 right now? If you'd just tore the ticket up, right?
A little bribe.
Yeah. These are the types of things. You know what I mean? Like, who knows what's actually going on? A dirty, dirty world. Okay, a couple more comments, and then we'll move on to witchcraft here and witches and these other things. Let's see. Joe says, what's up, Joe? Joe on Facebook says, please don't eat the bats. Eat bats. No, I don't. I don't.
You can't stop me, Joe.
Yeah,
okay?
Exactly. That's good advice. But Joe says Ozzy only bit the head off. Yeah, Ozzy only bit the head off, so he's safe. He spit it out, right? He did.
Well, he thought it was fake.
Oh, did he? Was that the story?
Well, that's what he says. I mean, he could have been so high it might be true, but if
yeah, that's true. That's true. If people don't know the reference, Ozzy Osbourne, notoriously famous for biting the head off of a live bat on stage. That's the reference. There you go. If you guys hadn't heard that, I didn't realize he quote thought it was fake, but wink, wink, whatever the story is.
Yeah, right.
I swear she told me she was of age, right? Yeah, exactly. Okay, all right, there we go. Enough being crude.
So, well, what if he's been walking around with the coronavirus for this whole time, and his coronavirus wasn't able to it was incubated by all the drugs and poison in his bloodstream, and it lay dormant for years. And then he finally visited China. You know what I'm saying? Like, who knows?
On the Aussie World Tour. Yeah, who knows, right? And then he hawked a loogie in the bathroom, and then the rest is history. I mean, who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? Maybe that's what I'm saying, right? The theories are not few and far between. The theories are like an avalanche, and some of them are more funny than others. Let's say. Okay, all right, let's go. Let's do it. Let's do witches. Anything else on Bezos? Coronavirus, bats or monkeys or anything else? We went batshit. We went monkey herpes. We got all kinds of crazy stuff. Anything else on that, Rash? Before we move on.
No, let's move on. I'm getting kind of like woozy. I just had sushi. And
Okay.
It's too much for me.
Joe adds about Ozzy. I'm sure he was extremely high. Yeah, I think that's probably a good solid take.
I was a betting man.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna let's do it. Let's switch to witches real quick, and we'll do that. Let's do that. Let me see. Let's pull this up. Let's get this. All right. Let's start on this one. Let's start with a nice mainstream source. All right. So witches. What do you guys think of when you think witches? Right? Is it typically Halloween, black cats? Right? Hold on. I got this sound clip. When you think of witches, is it typically like this? Let me know if this rings a bell. Here we go.
We came, we saw, he died.
I can hear it now.
Okay, there we go. When people think of witches, they think of things like that, right? You can hear it now. Now you're good. You're in. See, we fixed the audio. That means if you call, he can hear you. So, and anyway, the phones are broke. But anyway, okay, so here we go. So from history.com, the history witches, right? So we're going to go through just a little bit of this, and then we'll move on to some other things and maybe make some connections, because there seems to be the history of witches here, what we know about them in a generic sense, in like a zeitgeist type sense, in a a universal subconscious sense, where we all know a little bit about it, but maybe not as much as we should. I think that's probably a good way to put it here. And so here we go. So linking it. You guys can check it out as always. The links will always be down below in the YouTube video as always. So if you want to follow up on us, make sure we're not making shit up, then here you go. You got it. So here we go. So history witches. Let's see. Witches perceived evil, of course, in Christians in Europe, inspiring the iconic Halloween figure, blah, blah. Early witches were people who practiced witchcraft, using magic spells and calling upon spirits for help to bring about change. Climate change. Never mind. Most witches were thought to be pagans doing the devil's work. Many, however, were simply natural healers or so-called wise women who chose a choice of profession that was misunderstood. So it's unclear exactly when witches came on the historical scene, but one of the earliest records of which the Bible, of a witch is in the Bible in the book of 1 Samuel, thought to be written between 931 BC and 721 BC. It tells the story of when King Saul sought the witch of Endor to summon the dead prophet Samuel's spirit to help him defeat the Philistine army. So, yeah, there we go. There's a good start. What about witches, Ash? What have you heard about them? What's your initial, kind of generic take? Do you think witches are good? Do you think witches are evil? Do you think they're much maligned and maybe they are healers like they say? What do you think? How does it make you feel? And so far so good, or so far not so good?
Yeah. So, I mean, witches basically believe that there's more to reality, which kind of aligns with a lot of the crazy remote viewing souls kind of stuff, right? So it kind of plays into that, and that that they can kind of manipulate reality through making barters and trade or focusing their existence. So it's kind of weird that a lot of the stuff I kind of I jive with, in a sense where if you believe in something, you can make it go, like The Secret and stuff like that. But then there's that whole mountain of them using baby blood and sacrificing people and flying on brooms. And at what point, where does the myth end and the
reality?
The practical application begin? And I imagine different witch groups would have different interpretations as well, right? So, let's explore it.
Yeah, definitely. And then you go, and then so in general folk tale terms, you think of Hansel and Gretel, and the witch that tried to eat them. Right, that was the entire point. Right, the witch eating children, which we'll get to a little bit later. But I mean, like, what's with that? I mean, so obviously there's been a concerted smear campaign over the years about witches, right, and purging them in medieval Europe, and then again we'll get to the Salem witch trials a little bit.
Maybe just bad PR,
Yeah, right. They bad publicists. They need to fire their publicist and get a new one. You know what I mean? It certainly seems that's the case, where they would want you to believe that the witches in general are evil. They are minions of Satan and do evil magic, right? But I think given that if you have to say magic exists in one form or another, which I think kind of like aliens, if you say magic is completely irrelevant because it doesn't exist at all, I think that's like saying aliens don't exist at all. I mean, do you really know that? Probably not, but you can make wild claims. But if it does exist, my point is that there's dark magic. There has to be light magic, right? There has to be. You have to be able to, with intention, have a good intention or a bad intention, right? Like they said in The Wizard of Oz, are you a good witch or are you a bad witch, right? I think those things exist. So anyway, here we go. So the Bible. Book of 1 Samuel we were at. Okay, so now here's another one. So witch hysteria, this is the Malleus Maleficarum, which is a book. Witch hysteria really took hold in Europe during the mid-1400s when many accused witches confessed, often under torture, to a variety of wicked behaviors. Within a century, witch hunts were common, and most of the accused were executed by burning at the stake or hanging. Single women, widows, and other women on the margins of society were especially targeted. That sounds brutal, huh? That sounds brutal. It continues. Between the years 1500 and 1660, that's 160 years, up to 80,000 suspected witches were put to death in Europe.
Wow.
80,000. Around 80% of them were women, thought to be in cahoots with the devil and filled with lust. Germany had the highest witchcraft execution rate, which nobody's surprised about. Sorry, dirty joke, bad joke. While Ireland had the lowest. So, I mean... Yeah, so we'll get to this book in a sec. The Malleus Maleficarum is what it's called. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but hey, yeah, you can. If you guys listen, you're used to it. You're used to it. All right, go ahead. Sorry, Ash. Go ahead. I'm going to pour it.
No, it's interesting. I don't know if you've ever seen the Alex Jones Joe Rogan podcast, but Alex Jones has a theory, basically, that there is like another side, and there are like deities or entities, and that throughout human history, they have basically how do you say have made contact with people, and then he says it just like this: is at first it's all good and people are talking to their ancestors, but then like the gods want blood, and like it becomes about sacrifice, and there's something about like maybe the entities do that, and maybe there is something to it. Maybe there's more to reality, and that these witches, tap into that. But beyond that, they make like transactions with the other side, who, and we'll get to aliens and shit later. But where maybe these aliens want the rush of negativity, and there's all this like pedophile stuff and a lot of the witch stuff, and it kind of like has some overlap. You know, when you draw the circles and then you draw some things that like overlap. Do you know what I'm talking about? The circles, the comparison circles? You know?
No, I have no idea. I have no idea. Is it like a rune, or like something you draw on the dirt?
Like
or what are you talking about?
Yeah, like you draw two circles and then you put like monkeys one and humans another, right? And then in one circle you say monkeys have fur, they have tails, and then the humans would be like, they have they stand up on 2 feet straight up all the time, but in the middle they have an overlap where they like have hands, eyes, right? There's things that are similar. So if you look at all these different things of like sacrificing, even just back in the day with like Aztecs, I think it's the Aztecs. I'm sorry if I misquoted them, but they sacrifice like tens of thousands of people. And then you look at witches and burning up the stakes. Then you look at the whole pedophile stuff and supposedly abuse children and kill them. All this stuff has like a lot of overlap in the middle, and it could just be like something else influencing humanity whenever it gets the chance. And that influence could be magic. It could look like magic, right? So anyway, just a theory, pretty interesting one, and just kind of giving a little different spin on the witch phenomenon or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. And so again, to clarify my magic statement too, and kind of fill it in there with what Ash was saying, magic and technology, right? If you don't understand the technology, are hand in hand. Well, I forget the exact saying, but you get it. So if you have technology that's so advanced it appears to be magic, it may as well be magic. And so that's kind of my point. If you don't believe in aliens, you kind of probably don't believe in magic, right? Because they can do some things that we probably still think physics-wise is magic, is voodoo, or whatever right. You want to call it, right? So okay, so anyway, so let's keep on rolling with this. But all right, so this book, the Malleus Maleficarum, I'm not saying it right. I hope I am, but okay, there we go. It was written by two well-respected German Dominicans in 1486, and it likely spurred witch mania to go viral. The book, usually translated as "The Hammer of Witches," was essentially a guide on how to identify, hunt, and interrogate witches.
Oh shit.
Yeah, oh shit, right? Yeah. So this book labeled witchcraft as heresy and quickly became the authority for Protestants and Catholics trying to flesh out witches living among them. For more than 100 years, the book sold more copies of any other book in Europe except the Bible. That's not good.
Wow.
That's not good.
You know what? Did they ever check their error rate? Like, it's a lot of people who were burned alive. What was their success rate? Like, they wouldn't know. They'd kill them, right? So...
I would think so.
Did these guys, did they double check their work?
Yeah, exactly.
Before they started burning people alive.
Yeah, you would hope, right? Like, and this is why there's a thing in modern free history called due process. So you don't just get the mob saying he gave me the evil eye in the window, and they kick the door in and drag you out and burn you at the stake, right? No, that's why these things have happened because of the situations like this. A couple good comments here. Chad says that my mom is a witch, born on Halloween, used to do spells. They have worked, but they come back threefold. So she's only done a few, then had to pay for it. She's open about it, and we'll talk about it. That crazy shit. So I've heard that. So reading about witches the last, the threefold. Yep, there's threefold. So it always comes back to you threefold. Is the what would you say? You can't you can't just cast, let's say, curses and not expect it to come back to you somehow or some way. And threefold could mean not necessarily like a mathematical concept of times 3. It might be 3 months from now, and it's really bad. You know what I mean? It's very foggy on what the threefold means from what I was reading, but it definitely comes back. You can't just, with impunity, just put curses on everything and everybody and not have it come back to get you eventually. Because, the magic has a way of balancing itself out, they say. I said that.
Yeah, what's crazy is... and I glossed over it, so I may not be representing it correctly. The Farsight remote viewers, they remote viewed Jeffrey Epstein, and the remote viewers actually got a lot of them didn't actually get the actual hanging. They got a dark entity coming to claim its prize, coming to claim what they, because Jeffrey Epstein became rich all of a sudden, right? It was kind of crazy. He got all this power, he got all these young girls that he wanted, and if you follow this narrative, what we're talking about, he basically maybe he did witchery or sold his soul, and then in the remote viewing they saw dark entities coming to claim their prize. It's crazy. That's a crazy angle, right? That's pretty nuts.
Yeah, pretty nutty stuff. Got some good comments here. What's up, Sherry? Says, thanks for showing up. Sherry says, I know warlocks that prance around in Italian shoes and drink wine all day. That sounds like a merry bunch. Hopefully they don't cast curses on people. That would suck. Joe says, play on words, funny guy. Chad says, let's see, I wish I could have my mom call in. She would school you on this stuff. Yeah, if definitely. Well, phone lines are broken tonight, unfortunately. But if she can use Discord, definitely welcome. You guys are all welcome, of course. So Sherry adds those people are wannabe witches. Okay, all right. I guess that's kind of. That's
our audience knows a lot about this. I'm a little worried. Let's keep on the good side before they.
Yeah, exactly. Thomas says sacred geometry. Yes, exactly. That has a play in this and spellcraft and all this stuff. Nikki, what's up? Thanks for showing up. We got let's see, Christian. Yes, Aztecs. Just going through here. Joanne, what's up? I've heard this to be true. Okay, cool. Thanks. All this good stuff. Sean says Ash gives. You guys are the fucking jokes. All right, we're not going to finish reading that one. All right, it's pretty funny.
I just got it.
All right.
That's so random, Sean. Like you gotta. It's not even relevant, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you just sitting there thinking about me? Like,
no. Here's the thing. If we're gonna make some ass jokes, you got to make sure that these are relevant here. Come on, guys.
Someone else just liked it. Okay. It's getting more likes.
All right. Whatever.
I'm gonna go tell the teacher.
Okay, do it. Okay, here we go. So then we get the Salem witch trials.
It's funny.
The Salem witch trials we'll get to, or witches real. One of the most famous witches in Virginia's history is Grace Sherwood, 1706. She was brought to trial, and the court decided to use a controversial water test to determine her guilt or innocence. We've heard this before. Her arms and legs were bound and was thrown into a body of water. If it was thought if she sank, she was innocent. If she floated, she was guilty, which, of course, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Because if you sink, you're innocent, but you drown. If you float, you're guilty, and then they'll take you out and burn you or hang you, right? So it's screwed. Basically, you get accused and you're dead. So it says Sherwood didn't sink and was convicted of being a witch. She wasn't killed but put in prison for 8 years. There you go. So damned if you do, damned if you don't. Here's another one too. I thought this was pretty interesting. Book of Shadows. Modern day witches of the Western world still struggle to shake their historical stereotype. Most practice Wicca, an official religion in the United States and Canada, but they use this thing called a Book of Shadows, which we'll get to in a sec. I got some information on that. But okay, enough on this. Actually, hold on. Book of Shadows right here. Let me link this and talk about it real quick. What do you think when you hear the Book of Shadows and witchcraft there, Ash? What is it? Tell me a fictitious story. Just what does it conjure to mind when you say Book of Shadows and witches? What do you think it is?
You know what's funny is I don't believe any of that stuff, but at the same time, I must believe it enough because I would not fuck with any of that. I would not touch it. Book of Shadows. Oh, it reminds me of Charmed. I am the wind.
Wait. We don't sing. Come on now.
No, did you know I'm talking about Charmed? That old show with the three girls?
I'm too old for that shit, man. I haven't watched that crap.
No way, dude. That's an old show.
I'm too old for that shit. I confess, I've said this many times before. I don't watch a lot of TV. Never have. So anyway,
missed out. Those chicks were hot. So
okay,
anyway.
well there we go. I was missing it out. Okay, but okay. So what is a Book of Shadows then? What do you think?
It's like spells and like a guide to, what's the difference between like Jewish mysticism and a book like that? Is there comparison circles of overlap? I'm curious. I'd like to know more.
I would think so, right? So, okay, so here, let me explain what the actual Book of Shadows is. So I thought the same thing when I read that the first take. I was like, wait a minute. So a Book of Shadows, right? You think of some ancient tome passed down through the centuries with all these spells in it, right? And people smuggling copies, scribing copies, and smuggling them out across the line. No, apparently it's not that at all. But that kind of gave me the vibe. It's actually like every witch. Or not every, but many witches, let's say, have these books, and they're their own personal books. And it's like as they do these things, they kind of write it down in the book. So so here we go. Yeah. So I did link this if you guys want to check it out. So most people would love to have a leather-bound book bound with parchment and all this stuff like the old schools, but they do them in many ways, right? You can have it just a modern type of notebook, and you write down like practical things you've done. Spells that maybe you've learned, these types of things, right? So it's kind of like more of a personal journey book, and it's just called the Book of Shadows because it's a not particularly a book, it's many books and becomes many things, right? So yeah, I mean, there you go. Just pointing it out. So yeah, there we go. Okay, anything on that real quick before we keep on trying to do some good
does
stuff
that mean that there's a bunch of like wannabe witch people out there that have these books hidden away, right? So I have some stories later. I'll bring this up later.
Okay.
That's creepy. It's creepy,
Okay.
dude. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
So yeah. Okay. So it says basically you can put whatever you want in it, right? So it may just be spells you'd like to try someday, recipes, celebration ideas, poetry, dreams, pagan history, God and goddess information. The list goes on. This type of stuff, right? Whatever you want to put in, you can put it in, and it becomes your personal Book of Shadows. So that's what it is. And I thought it was interesting to look into, and I was like, oh, that's not what I thought at all. So, and it says at the end of the article here, if you're looking for an ancient and a real Book of Shadows, you are mostly out of luck. Even well-known books like the infamous Necronomicon will be a disappointment when you learn more about it. So There we go. This is from this article on freewitchcraftspells.com and Book of Shadows. So pretty good stuff there.
Have you ever heard of The Secret and all that kind of stuff where you manifest things into reality? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So it's we'll talk about that in a sec. How these spells work, how people cast them, how they're manifested. Maybe instead of maybe spellcraft is maybe confused in modern terms of manifesting your own reality, right? So yeah, it could be. We'll get to that in just a sec. But what are we going to say about that? We got some stuff here. I'll read good comments in the chat here. But yeah.
I guess I was just going to say that it seems to be kind of like cheat codes to reality that people don't fully understand. Is The Secret kind of a red pill, or like watered down version of the witchcraft, or is it that witchcraft is a fanaticized version of phenomenon that's in the universe, or is everyone just effing crazy? It's weird. It's curious.
Yeah, definitely. When you don't know a lot about it, it seems sinister, doesn't it? But again, like I said, I kind of tend to believe that no basis to this. It just seems like that the world has a way of, or the universe has a way of balancing itself. So if, I would think if there's dark magic, then there's light magic. There's that it balances. Anyway, there you go. One uneducated opinion. A couple shout outs here. What's up, Penny? Thanks for showing up. I'll see you on YouTube. Johnson, thanks for being here. Walsh on Mixer, thanks for showing up. Larry, hello. And definitely good stuff. Sherry says the book is bound in human skin, Mike. Okay, I don't like that book. The Book of Shadows. No thanks. All right, so here we go. So here's some. This is reported by Allure.com. So laugh at the source if you want. But this is somebody that claims to be a witch, and she says 9 myths about witchcraft that modern day witches like me are tired of hearing. So here we go. So let's read some of this and see what these people say about this. And I think it kind of some of this made sense. It made some pretty good sense. Okay, so here we go. Number 1, the myth is witches aren't real. She says that they are. In real life, you can be a witch and look just like yourself. No eating children required. There you go. There's your cue. No eating children. Hansel and Gretel. It says, so how do you know if you're a witch? If you feel an urge or to exert your will and get what you want, well, here we go, fighting the patriarchy and oh Jesus! All right, let's move on to the next one. Power to the women. Okay, number 2, you need this is
women.
Holy
Power
shit!
To the women.
How do we go from a witch thing to like politics in the same sentence here? Okay, so anyway, number 2, you need tons of training from established witches before you can cast your first spell. And so she says that's not the case at all, of course. So performing a spell just means setting an intention and then conducting a ritual, be that lighting a candle or meditating in a bathtub to fulfill it. For instance, let's say you want to wake up each morning filled with more self-love, write an intention letter affirming how much you appreciate yourself as you honor Venus, the Roman goddess of love and beauty. You can invoke the energy of any deity you will personally connect to, and Venus is a great go-to for love spells. So does that kind of make sense what we were saying there, right? You can kind of manifest it without really directly casting the spell, and the ritual could be very innocuous things, simple as lighting a candle or whatever else. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, and it's like it could be just associated with belief. The more you believe it, the more it comes true. And all this like hokey pokey spell crap makes you believe it harder. Like you're like, oh shit, I'm into this. I've done 15 things. It makes you feel like you've put more effort into doing it. So who knows what the actual formula is, or if it's bogus or not. But it is kind of concerning that it is kind of like very similar to just like some entrepreneur stuff that's taught out in the public. And if we're onto something, if this is correlated or similar, does that mean that like average people who are just trying to like make a better life, they're going to get it 3 times back? You know what I'm saying? Like how does this technology work?
I don't know about that. Come on, that sounds like you're stretching it. That sounds like you're spooked, aren't you? You're scared. You're scared tonight. Turn some lights on, Ash. Holy shit, man.
I'm gonna put my pants back on.
Okay, that's a good idea. Let's start there. All right, so here's some other myths. Practicing witchcraft is expensive. She says it doesn't have to be. Baby soap. You sell lovely vegan and cruelty-free beauty products. Witch Baby Soap is the brand. But is that everybody heard of this? Goop, the brand Goop, Goop. Have you heard of that, Ash? It's a It's a brand by Gwyneth Paltrow, and she sells all kinds of stuff. So this blogger here saying that you don't have to spend $85 on Goop's 8 essential crystals medicine bag in order to engage in crystal healing. So crystals, tarot cards, incense, handy ritual type stuff. But you don't have to spend a lot of money to make it happen. Myth number 4. Have you heard of Goop, by the way? Just FYI. I want to hear if you've heard of that.
Are you saying Goop?
Goop. Yes, it is a GOOP. Goop is the name of the brand.
No,
Yeah.
I have not.
It's Gwyneth OO, because all the best brands have OO in the middle, like Google, and then P like product. Yeah, genius, right? Genius. When you have a ton of money, you can make whatever the hell you want, no matter how bad it is. Okay, so anyway, there we go. Just curious if you heard of that. She's selling all kinds of stuff like this, kind of in the witch niche, sub-niche, you would say, I guess. Okay, so number 5. Your ancestors have to be witches for you to be one. So the Harry Potter series, Pure Bloods, it says. I've never watched Harry Potter. I don't know anything about that. But I do know that there is rumors that, you have to have witches in the bloodline to be able to be a witch. But apparently she's saying this isn't so. Okay, so there we go. So anybody can be a witch. You just have to be able to teach and train yourself of the things to do or not to do, right? Number 6, hexes aren't real. So she's saying they are real. And here it is right here. So, hexes cast to inflict misfortune on others are indeed real. You have heard of the rule of 3s, there it is, or the belief that performing magic with ill intent will come back to you 3 times, turning the ill intent on you. So, holy shit, that's not good. Here we go. So, okay, anyway, I think there's enough of this. So you don't have to be in a coven. You don't have to look good and be on Instagram. None of this other crap. Some obvious stuff here, but some other stuff that I was like, all right, and I guess this is what witches are all about. Yeah, you got a smoke alarm beeping over there? Somebody's pointed out. I think you got some shit beeping. Okay, anything else on that, Ash, about the witch, the modern day myths of witches? So what do you think?
Well, let's keep moving. Let's get some more information, right?
Okay.
Interesting.
All right, let's do it. Nothing there. All right, here we go. So here's some other stuff. I'm going to link this, and we're not going to go through this. There's a lot more to talk about tonight. So as usual, we have more than we can get to. So I'm going to link this. We'll just buzz over it real quick, and then we're going to get to some good stuff. We're going to get to some good stuff about witches here. Some interesting, maybe some deep darkness stuff. But this one is reported by Rebel Society. 13 signs you're a witch. So there we go. You can go through that yourself. Earth powers, wisdom, nature, storms, animal nature, all this other stuff. Okay, so
go planet. That's what
go planet.
Like. Earth,
go
wind,
planet.
Fire.
Go planet.
Planet.
Exactly. And so here's one. I'm going to just pick a couple of these out. And this is Magic in Daily Life. This is written by Alexia Moon from a now defunct website. This was witchvox.com, which you can only find on the Wayback Machine. The website is not up anymore. And so here you go. I dug it out anyway and kind of looked into this because it seemed like a pretty good source of people sharing information on spell casting and these sorts of things. So here's a part of this. It says Magic in Daily Life. And here's some tips you can apply to your day-to-day, which are spells. So here, first one says, when cooking, draw sigils or runes or other symbols with oil so that your food can be charged with your desired energies, health, harmony, prosperity, etc. Make sense? When you drink tea or coffee, always stir it clockwise to attract positive energies. I didn't know this. Did you know this?
I don't know. I don't know shit. So yeah, I don't know. I do some of it on accident.
Yeah, on accident, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Here's another one with the witch's broom, right? It says, when you are moving from one house to another, never take your old broom with you, the one you used to sweep the floor. This is a very old tip, but useful since it's considered by taking the old broom to the new house, you will also be bringing negative energies from your old house with you. So I didn't know that. There's your witches and the brooms. Let's see. Walk with a clove of garlic or onyx stone on you. These objects absorb negative energy and prevent it from influencing you. Like these types of things, right? Like simple. You couldn't really call them spells, right? But it's examples of magic in daily life. There's some other good stuff in here. I did link it if you guys want to check it out. This website is no longer up, but through the magic of the Wayback Machine, we can go back and look at some of the information they were sharing when it was up. So let's see. Avoid having the corners of your house empty. It is an ancient custom to say that the corners of the house are a great place for dormant energies, which end up piling up in the corner and not flowing properly. It's part of the feng shui philosophy. To avoid this, place chairs, furniture, or even plants in the corners of the house to allow better energy flow. See?
You know what this sounds like? This sounds like your grandma like making up excuses as she's going. Like it's like, Grandma, why do you always spin your coffee that way? It's like a weird way. Oh, it's good for your energy, and then it's like, Grandma, there's like clutter all in the corners. Wow, there's shit everywhere. Oh, that's for the energies of the room, darling. It just sounds like,
that would be the stereotype, right? Yeah,
right. There could have been like this core thing, and then over time it's just accumulated all this like superstition. You know what I'm saying? So and we're gonna try and maybe get into a little bit of the origins of it a little bit later, a potential origin. But it's like it just sounds like a lot of nonsense after a while. It's like you don't know what let's say this stuff is effective. Like, what is effective, what isn't? They're just doing whatever. They're just doing all of it, right, and hoping that they get a result. So interesting. A lot of neuroticism going on here, and Grandma making excuses.
Hey, easy, buddy, easy. You may as well call Grandma a boomer. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. All right, here we go.
Hey, man, if Grandma needs to clean the corners of the room, okay?
Hey, come on.
Like, you can't have shit everywhere, Grandma, all right? Just
exactly.
Because you think you're some magic energy.
All right, fair enough. All right, here we go. So we got here's another one from the same website, the way back to machine here. It's at witchvox.com. This is how to banish. It's a banishing spell, and this is how you do it. I'm not going to read this and go through this because we're we got some other stuff to get to. So I did link it if you guys want to check it out. But burning herbs, this type of thing, banishing circles, sacred geometry, the whole bit. So you guys can read that, check it out if you're interested. If you're into this stuff, if this is fake, fine. I mean, again, we're taking sources. I'm not a witch, clearly. Ash might be, but he doesn't know yet. But this is the type of thing that is this real? Is this not real? I don't know. What do you guys think? I think that's the bottom line. The most important thing is what you think about it. So we can buzz through the Salem witch trials and talk about that. What's up, John? Thanks for showing up. I see you on Facebook there. Okay, so this point, witches. What do you think, Ash? You think it is that? You think it's like Grandma being superstitious, or do you think there's something to this stuff? If you had to say personally,
I think there's always some sort of origins, and over time it gets skewed or translated. You know what I'm saying? And twisted, and so there could have been a origin source to this mystery, or several different origins, and things change over time, and we don't live that long, so it's really easy. What's the whole phenomenon if someone says a rumor, after so many people spreading the rumor changes very dramatically. So if you get like 15 people, and they'll do this at a some sort of show or something like that, just to demonstrate this, like a motivational talk or whatever. The speaker will whisper something to the first person, and they'll whisper to the person next to them, and they keep going, and by the end of it, it's like whatever it was originally is so different, but there's still a little bit of hint of truth of the origin. I think it's kind of like that, it's like, who knows, right? Like what the original thing was. And, if things make people feel more secure and they feel like they have a little more control over life, cool. But if there's something to it, if you're messing with stuff and you don't know what you're doing, you could really hurt yourself and the people around you. So,
yeah, I think that's part of the problem. Don't mess with stuff you don't really understand and cause yourself problems. Okay, so there we go. There's the banishing spell. We got Salem witch trials. I don't know. What do you think? You want to get to some aliens? We can get back to Salem witch trials. Let me see if we got anything else in here, and then we'll get to aliens. Okay, so all right, yeah. Let's skip through this. So most people know about the Salem witch trials, et cetera, so on. Here's the Maleficarum, which we talked about, that book in the written in Germany in I believe it was the 1400s. Link in this, you guys can check it out. Pretty good stuff. These books still exist, and you can check it out. The European Witch Hunters Manual sold more copies than the Bible, or just less than the Bible, number 2 on the bestseller list of medieval Europe. All right, so anyway, here we go. Let's got a bunch of this stuff here. Okay,
medieval Europe. That's an important piece of information.
Yeah,
I thought it was today. I was like, holy shit! Like
no.
Witches everywhere.
Yeah. Okay. So we got some Wiccan stuff. We got some are they religious? Is this not? I don't know.
Right.
I think it's more important as an alien show. Let's get into some of this other stuff. Has everybody heard?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well,
Sorry?
I was going to do the Our Witches Among Us today and kind of like gloss it out
sure.
real quick.
Sure. Let's do it.
Yeah. So if you want to bring up the Rosemary's Baby movie, so yeah, if you guys have ever seen Rosemary's Baby, a lot of what we talked today about what witchcraft, how to do it, is in that movie. And I remember watching that movie recently this year, and I was like, holy shit, this is a lot of the stuff that you kind of hear from through the grapevines about the elite in Hollywood, and how a lot of these Illuminati societies supposedly like get ahead using this like tech, right? And they've known it for generations, and they pass it down. And it's a bit of an older movie, but it's still not that old. And in the movie, they're hailing Satan. They are. She basically has a baby with a man, and who's part of a cult, and she kind of gets sucked into this cult. And then by the end of the movie, she's trying to get away from the cult, and she has the baby, and the baby's like the Antichrist, and it's really interesting movie. I really recommend watching it, and I'll kind of talk about this. I mean, at one point, someone does a spell on behalf of the one of the main characters, and he's like an actor trying to get a role, and the person who's in the role gets sick, and then he just happens to get a phone call the next day, and they like stole something from the guy and able to do the spell. So there's a lot of cool interesting stuff in here, and it's almost like whoever made this movie knew a lot about what we just talked about, a lot of stuff. And it's really interesting. There's like concoctions, everything we just talked about is in this movie. So if you're into that, if you want to learn more, or if you just want to kind of take a little little dip of your foot in there, I would recommend that movie.
Definitely.
What do you think?
So esoteric spell casting. You know what? I haven't seen this. If I have, it's been so damn long ago that I forgot. So it's probably one I should revisit. Yeah. So I mean, this article actually says the most cursed hit movie ever made. So Rosemary's Baby was a hit novel that became an iconic film, only to bring woe to nearly everyone who made it. So was it the witchcraft aspect that maybe brought bad luck on it, kind of like the curse of the pharaoh when you open the sarcophagus or whatever, or you get into the tomb for the first time? There's a curse. Is it the same sort of thing? Like you actually cast spells in movies and distribute it widely? That it's the law of threes or whatever. Was it coming back? Yeah, in a negative fashion. It could be, right? I don't know. What did you see some of the tragedies in here? What did they say in this article?
I kind of like I didn't want to focus too much on the tragedies, but I know that like the director was fine, but there's like a dozen people who experienced some sort of tragedy, just kind of handing this movie around or whatever. So very interesting. If you guys are interested in this whole thing about the director and the movie and the making of it, and it even goes into some things about like conspiracy theories about the Beatles, and there's like this Hollywood satanic connection. This could, like, literally at the end of the movie, what creeped me out is the Satanists win. And it's almost kind of like, is this Hollywood being like, yeah, like
Gotcha.
this is,
Gotcha.
and
Yeah.
so, if you watch the movie, you get to the end, you're like, damn, the Satanists won. And they're all like wealthy people, wealthy to do, and this is just like a normal part of their life, these witch spells and everything like that. So very interesting, very related.
Okay. Yeah,
So-
cool.
Yeah, so the let's keep going here. So the idea is, witches, are they still among us? And the answer is yes, like very clearly. So check out, Tom Brady's wife is a witch. The golden boy, Tom Brady, his wife is witch. So let's just watch that clip real quick. And I think it's super relevant, man. It's kind of like, wait, what did he just say? And he doesn't understand what he's saying. He doesn't really care. He doesn't get it. But he's basically admitting his wife is a witch, and he talks all about it. So, and she claims that she helped him win the Super Bowl. So everyone hates Tom Brady. Maybe there's a reason why. So let's go ahead and watch that clip.
All right, action.
Any superstitions going into the game? Any special thing you carried to the game on Sunday that you had tucked away somewhere?
I did. I always I've learned a lot from my wife over the years. She's so about the power of intention, and believing things that are really going to happen. And she always makes a little altar for me at the game because she just wills it so much. And so she put together a little altar for me that I could bring with pictures of my kids. And I have these little special stones and healing stones and protection stones. And she has me wear a necklace and take these drops she makes. And I say all these mantras. And I stopped questioning her a long time ago. I did. I just shut up and listened. And at first I was like, this is kind of crazy. And then about 4 years ago, we were playing the Seahawks. And she said, you better listen to me. This is your year. This is all the things you're going to have to do to win. I did all those things. My God, it worked pretty good. And then in 2015, it was about early January. And she said, you know how much I love you. And I said, yeah. She said, I just want to let you know this is not going to be your year. Oh. And of course we lost. I said, what does 16 look like? And she said, 16 is going to be your year. So it was early January this year, and I said, babe, I asking, like, do we have a chance? And she said, yeah, but you're going to have to do a lot of work, and you're really going to have to listen to me. So, man, I listened to her. And right after the game, she said, see, I did a lot of work. You do your work, I do mine.
There you go. Okay, so I know I cut you off there, Ash, and you couldn't hear it because they're saying echoes. That's the problem. We got echoes on that with the talkback. Anyway, so I get the point. Yeah. No, you're good. You should be back on. Okay, so the issue here is that he's basically, what is he saying? He's saying that he has they're performing rituals, right? That there's some sort of he has this altar. Nothing wrong with the pictures of his kids, of course, but then there's protection stones. There's mantras that he has to chant. What would they be? Spells? What would you say to that? I don't know. What the hell? What the hell's that?
When you think about that, it's crazy, right? I was like, wait a minute, and I remembered this deep in the recesses of my mind. And when I first heard it, I didn't really think about it, but now with all this context, that's insane. She's a witch, straight up. Like, what else is that? Or she's very superstitious, or
right.
She's a witch.
Definitely an amateur witch, for sure. But yeah, so that's so this is the thing, right? So is Tom Brady won all these Super Bowls because he's able to focus under pressure, or is it because he's got magic spells backing him up, right? The protection stones and these sorts of things, magic circles in the locker room. I mean, who knows what's actually going on? And it seems funny, it seems silly, but I don't know. There's a tremendous level of success there. and
yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Results.
So, yeah, I mean, what can you do? I mean, you know what? Like, will somebody cast some good? No, don't cast any spells on me. I'm just kidding. Let's not do that. I was going to say, let's win some Super Bowls, Ash. Let's win some Super Bowls. Go.
No, but see, you're in the same boat as me, bro. It's like, I don't know if it's real, but I'm not fucking with it, right?
Yeah,
Said. No, yeah, exactly. So, I'm a little more skeptical on the skeptical side that it's not real, but I ain't messing with that, So. It's funny. You just admitted you're in the same boat as me. Okay.
Yeah. No. Like again, I think you shouldn't poke energies that you can't control. You know what I mean? Even if they can twist your intentions. Like you never know. I don't know. Like I don't understand it at all, but I do understand that I probably shouldn't be screwing with it. That's probably enough for me to understand. So
I agree. Amen. Man. I get
Amen.
It.
Joe says she's a witch, a smoking hot witch. There we go. Okay.
Witches are, right? That's the idea that witches are like, they wear the goth and they're
right.
Like,
yeah. That's the Instagram witches. Come on, everybody relax. Okay. All right. So anything else?
Alex Jones tells a story how he got into conspiracy theories is he went on a date with this smoking hot goth chick, and he hooks up with her, and she had all this upside down crosses, all this crazy stuff, and the father was there. He's like, yeah, you have fun having sex with my daughter, which is who says that, right? So, and then he finds out that they're a Satanist cult or witches or whatever, and So anyway, I thought that was interesting. Like, just another relevant piece of information. And
Yeah.
so is this stuff going on today? Is it like rampant today in Hollywood? Are the elites cashing out? Is Epstein, a witch, a warlock, cashing out? And and then you saw what happened to him. It came back, and so I have some more links here. We don't have to go through it, but and just to gloss over those.
Yeah, let's get to the alien stuff, and then we'll circle back if we have time to touch this other stuff. Okay,
I'm just gonna gloss through it. We don't even have to look at it, so you guys can look through it on your time. So, like, if you check out Netflix, we have an article from the Vice that there's like all these occult movies on Netflix, and if you notice, Sabrina the Teenage Witch and all this stuff is back. So, is Harry Potter? Is this a push? Is this brand PR on their behalf? And Taylor Swift just came out with a new music video, and it has a lot of occulty kind of witchy kind of stuff in it. So the Hollywood's always pushing this, and it's like, are these like modern day witches hanging out in Hollywood? So yeah, that's it. That's kind of like our witches among us. And tell us what you guys think. Leave some comments and join Discord if you have any experiences. We'd love to hear them.
There you go. And the way you get on Discord is go to troubleminds.org, the official website. Discord link is on the top right, and you can get on the show that way. And so, yeah, this is the thing, right? This is prevalent. And then there was Paul posted about the Super Bowl yesterday in Discord about the occult symbolism, which there's a ton of that, right? It happens every year. And these things are like rituals in plain sight and broadcast to millions, hundreds of millions of homes around the world. So, I mean, if you're talking about like doing rituals and maybe amplifying their power by putting it into the minds of people the world over, there'd be no better platform than the Super Bowl, right? Like when you have like 100 million, hundreds of millions of eyeballs on it, it kind of, right? Kind of makes sense, right? So, I mean, like they talk about that quite a lot. Every year there's Super Bowl occult references and the rest of this. So if you guys want to look into that, of course, there's always good information about that. You can check YouTube, et cetera, so on. But I thought it was relevant to that right there. And yeah, maybe this witchcraft stuff is happening right there in plain sight, right in front of everybody.
It's a good point. It's like the core of it is like humans have some sort of innate power and connecting with. So if a lot of people are putting their energy into it, it can come true. Whether that's witches, satanic cult, alien believers, whatever. It could just be a phenomenon that's at a core that they understand or they believe, and they're trying to, because like they have open freaking ceremonies as music videos now. It's like so obvious. And they're getting more obvious with like Justin Bieber's Yummy videos and their marketing. And he's like, they're like literally going to children and going #Yummy. Like weird. Hollywood is weird as shit now. Stop like worshiping these people. Like, I love some celebrities just like the next guy, like Thor, and all this kind of stuff. But a lot of these people are sick, and you're giving your power to them, or at least they believe you are.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
so, okay. So let's go with that for just a second. So let's say the Super Bowl, let's say if you do a ritual on live TV and you're able to project this into hundreds of millions of homes all over the world, does that get into the psyches of people, whether it's direct or indirect, some sort of subconscious thing? And are they able to boost the power of the ritual by the amount of souls that have eyeballs on it, right? Is there some sort of reason why they do this in huge events? And I don't know. That's a little bit frightening if they're, J-Lo's going to take 10 years off of her life and look younger yet, like a vampiress or whatever. You know what I mean? Like what the hell's going on?
They look good. Hey, Shakira can take a year off.
Hey, everybody settle down. Everybody relax.
Shakira,
take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath.
When you talk like that, I mean, seriously, a year. She can have it.
Okay. Terry, what's up on Facebook says, that's why you stop watching. That's a great one. Exactly. Kelly, what's up? Kelly, thanks for showing up. Says the Colts knows this as well. That's why they do these spells on certain days or certain days or months. Yeah. I was reading something about they do the Super Bowl on a particular pagan holiday. So I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that was the case. But so anyway, more stuff we can get into it at another time. Let's continue trucking here. Get on to the aliens. All right. So the alien now. You may roll your eyes and go, wait, so how do aliens fit in to witches, right? What's going on here? You're taking a left turn off the road. No, hold on. Check this out. So witch-wise, has everybody heard of a succubus? You heard of that? Ash? You know what a succubus is?
Yeah, I'm hoping to run into one.
Okay,
these
all right.
days.
I don't think you are. I don't think that means what you think it means. Princess Bride. Princess Bride. Okay, here we go. Succubus. This is from Occultopedia, which is amazing, right? Check that website out. Pretty good stuff there. So I'm putting this up, and you guys can check the link out. But this is what a succubus is, right? And they are demons. So here we go. In occult lore, a lewd female demon or goblin which takes on the illusory appearance of a female human being and seeks sexual intercourse with men, usually while they are asleep. The princess of all the succubi is Nahame. Its male counterpart is called an incubus. A semi-human offspring is called a cambion. And again, from occultopedia.com. So what do they do, right? So according to the church fathers, the succubus was an angel who fell from grace because of his insatiable lust for men. As a demon, the succubus continued with its carnal desires, preying upon vulnerable men, tempting them in their sleep, and inciting sexual desires that only herself could satisfy. Let's see, hold on. This is almost done. Traditional wisdom professes that demons were only spirits and had no corporeal form. I can't say the word. To be able to do this thing, the succubus was presumed to come upon its physical form in one of two ways: either reanimating a human corpse or using human flesh to create a body of its own, which was then endowed with artificial life. There you go. So if you want some dead flesh on you, Ash, you just said it. You said it, buddy. Like I said, I don't think it means what you think it means. But okay, so they're.
I'm still
demons.
interested. You know, I gotta
still interested, right?
I gotta see the woman.
You're a sick man. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. That's what they're saying. That's the whole point. Like you would be having relations with a corpse. Is the point? That they're actually showing you in an illusion in your brain that it's not. So
maybe it is not. Maybe it doesn't mean what I think it means. Maybe you're right. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's not. Yeah.
Well, that leads to the next topic, which we love to take the alien angle on it, and I think that's very correlated. And I think we have some sleep paralysis stuff on deck, but we do have a caller. Do you want to bring him in right now and do that?
Yeah. One sec. Let me round that out. So okay. So the sleep paralysis thing, real quick. So they say that the succubus comes in the middle of the night, and they say there's a pressure on your chest and you're unable to move, right? And so modern doctors and scientists have said that it mirrors the sleep paralysis thing of that they've seen from the abduction phenomena of aliens. And so there's a similar, which we'll get to in a sec here, but there's something similar. And I got you, Sherry. I'll be careful. You got to be careful what you say, what kind of words you say, what kind of demons you invoke, these types of things, right? Because I don't understand them. And right? Do you? I don't. So let's just be careful about what we say. Thank you for looking after me, and let's get the caller in. Let's grab him and bring him in. Let's go. And all right. Hey, it's Sean, our favorite Canadian. What's up, my man? You're on Trouble Minds with Ash and Mike. How you doing? Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Can you hear us? Okay, we're going to keep on going. What's that? Say something. Somebody say something?
I can't. Oh, wait, I heard him for a second, I think.
Okay, get it worked out. We'll keep on going here. Okay, so go ahead and start with that, Ash. So there's some sort of parallel with demons, witches, the succubus, the sleep paralysis. Is it somehow related to the abduction phenomena? Go.
Right. So if you guys are familiar with the abduction phenomenon, and a lot of the kind of reported cases and what happens there's surprisingly more parallels with it than you think. So let's kind of get into it. So between the 14th and 18th centuries, and we mentioned this before, but we'll prime it up. Somewhere between 40 to 60,000 people in the European continent were tried and executed for witchcraft. Most of these people were burned alive in a public square of the nearest town, and most were also tortured before burning. Damn, that's dark. So between 70 and 80% of all witches executed were women. But many men, children, and even animals were executed as well. But the primary amount of them are women. And if you know about the abduction phenomenon, it's not sexual, but it's a reproductive one, right? So the women are the ones that are targeted. So how will we identify a witch or an abductee, right? So what are the overlaps, the comparison circle between witch and abductee? So maybe back then, if we take the vastness of time and how long people have been here, we talked about a little bit of that on a previous show, maybe the abduction phenomenon's been happening for a while, or maybe it comes in bursts. And maybe this was a time when it was happening, in humans having no concept. I don't even think they knew the world was round at this point, right? I'm not sure. I don't want to misrepresent the medieval folk.
Many still don't. Many still don't, Ash.
That's true. Damn, that's it. Yeah, it's a funny world we live in. They would, if this phenomenon was happening, they wouldn't know what it is, right? So, like, black-eyed children, that's like a phenomenon supposedly happening now. We could say, okay, those are hybrids with genetics. Back then, they wouldn't know genetics. They wouldn't know aliens. They would just be like, that's demons or some shit, right? So let's get into it. What are the parallels between a witch and an abductee? What would be common? So the first one would be marks on the bodies. Abductees and witches are both thought to be physically marked in some way. In cases, it might be a mole or a birthmark, and or maybe they declare there's an invisible mark of some sort. In the case of abductees, researchers look for scoop marks, triangle-shaped scars, or evidence of alien implants. So, what do you think about that, Mike? That's pretty crazy, right? So, like, these aliens would do stuff to their abductees, and then people would observe these patterns, and then their reaction was witches. We need to do something.
Yeah, so that goes back to the same thing, right? So when technology is so advanced, it's indecipherable from magic to people that don't understand it. So it's the same thing, and that's what I mean. And definitely the parallel here is that maybe this was happening and is misunderstood. Maybe it's a dimensional thing that we're not even touching on here. Who knows? But it definitely could fall into the realm of some sort of abductee program. I mean, because we've talked about quite a bit, many people have as well, about the Anunnaki, been here for millions and millions of years. And they were supposedly, by many accounts, responsible for doing DNA alterations and creating modern humans. So if this was the case, and let's say maybe the Zeta Reticuli Greys, whatever they are, I don't know if I got the name there right, but these same sorts of folks been visiting for millions of years. Folks, let's say interstellar folks, been visiting for millions of years, and these are the stories that maybe come out of it. I think there's the connection, right? There's the folklore, and again, they have a modern explanation in that sleep paralysis. And real quick, we got a good comment here. Chad says, was it Chad? Yeah, I had sleep paralysis once. It's effed up. I didn't see a demon or the shadow man, but I never want that to happen again. So there we go. And if there's Sean, I don't know if you're still there, but we're whenever you're ready, man. Whenever you're ready. Let's see. Okay. Oh, I see. You had a big delay. Okay. We're going to put him back in the caller queue. Here we go. You're on. All right. So Sean, you there? Sean from Canada. Testing 1 2. Can you hear us, buddy? Can you hear us, buddy? Testing 1 2. Test.
Maybe he can't hear us in Discord. And that he's trying to have a conversation with us through the voice chat or something like that. Anyway, let's keep moving on. So this is just like what you were talking about, Mike. The second thing on this list: supernatural sex, right? Witches were believed to have sexual intercourse with inhuman agents of the devil called incubi, male demons, and succubi, female demons. Abductees are often believed to have intercourse with half inhuman or half human aliens during the abduction experience. So we know if you guys have been up to date on the hybrid program, when people get abducted, there's this whole sexual genetic component of it, and basically the goal is to kind of create a new type of being or whatever, right? That's what it seems like. So if this was happening, if this has happened previously in previous times, humans would not know what the hell they're looking at. And so it's interesting that there is a sexual component with abductions. And here we go, and it directly correlates. This is starting to look, starting to get interesting.
Yeah, it seems to ring true with some of that succubus, incubus stuff. And if it's some sort of so what they say is that the succubus would mate with the male and then become impregnated with another demon, right, and have some sort of offspring, like hybrid offspring. And so in the same situation, right, we have the same thing. We have like the Greys that they're supposedly come in the middle of the night. They do these things, the exact same things, right? Except it's kind of just framed slightly differently. Instead of a demon, we have these beings from another planet, right? Another galaxy, another dimension, whatever it happens to be. And so they're doing these things in a very similar manner. And the story is kind of parallel at this point. So you got marks on the body, you got this supernatural sex and some sort of procreation going on. Are demons actually aliens, or the converse, or are they not at all? Are they not related? And maybe they're two separate things doing the same thing, because humans have some sort of divine in them, let's say, that they're here from some other place and they're trying to steal from us. And whether that's the seed, or whether that's the knowledge, or whether that's the soul. There's anyway, I don't know. Again,
no,
like
maybe
I said,
the Anunnaki are more advanced than the Greys or whatever, and so a lot of their technology that was in their blood is in ours because they were geneticists, right? So they're coming here to basically tap that vein every once in a while. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Got a couple good comments you're going to read about sleep paralysis. Christian says, I've had sleep paralysis as well. Couldn't wake up. It was a demon type on top of me. It was the scariest I've ever experienced. That sounds terrifying. No, thank you. Chad says, sleep paralysis, it feels like somebody's sitting on your chest. You can't move. You can only move your eyes. It's horrible. And so that's back to the succubus, right? They say that the succubus gets on your chest and holds you down. And there you go. That's part of the thing. Good stuff. Good stuff. Let's see. Todd says that someone put a spell on my trash dumpster. They didn't empty it today. Well, there you go. Then maybe it's the law of threes coming back to you for casting that Super Bowl spell that you lost. All right, just kidding. All right.
No. Screw you, Todd. That was me.
Yeah, exactly.
I was outside your dumpster.
All right. Okay. So that's supernatural sex, again, parallels between the abduction phenomena. Betty and Barney Hill, right? Travis Walton Fire in the Sky, the same sorts of stuff. And it definitely seems like we may have a connection here. Okay, so what else we got, Ash?
Yeah, so we got some more, and it's starting to get really compelling. So, flying by night, witches were claimed to have the ability to fly through the sky and this and that. And if you look, a lot of the abductees are taken through their windows from their homes, and they float up to a spaceship. So, if someone would witness this, it only takes one person to witness something like this. Then people will be like, holy shit, they can fly. And then that's it, right? Like the rumors get out, spreads throughout the populace. And another thing to note about this is what's tragic is if you believe that the abduction phenomenon is real, then we have millions, thousands at least, of victims in all over the world who live with this kind of phenomenon and have to deal with this stuff. And our society, as modern and as realistic as it is, and like rational, and we're supposed to be like, you know what I mean, advanced further along, we treat those people like dirt. There's not really many places for them to go. There's something innate about humans. We don't want to deal with weird shit, right? Like we just cast those people aside. So you can only imagine back then, you know, these if this is true, if this is a correlation, these people were victims twice. And then, so not only are they have all this weird alien shit happening to them, that they have no idea what's going on, then they're burned at the stake by the people, their own community.
Yeah.
So, very tragic.
Terrible. And so, yeah, I'm not going to turn witch hunt into something political, but I definitely feel you with the injustice. It seems, tragic, let's say.
Very tragic. And this is why it's important to... this is why, you know, I don't. Mike and I are very passionate about having conversations about anything and being open-minded and hearing from you guys because, you know, this is a place where we can talk about stuff and not burn people at the stake, right? You know, just one extreme to another.
Right.
So let's keep going through the list. So messing with animals. Witches were said to possess the ability to kill farm animals without drawing blood. Come on. You guys know what that is. That's the cattle mutilations.
I know all about that. The cattle mutilations.
You've done a few shows on that, right?
Yeah, we talk about that quite often. And Linda Moulton Howe is the expert. Go back and check her out if you guys haven't heard of it. She's on Earth Files right now, but she's got decades of work on the cattle mutilation stuff. And so there it is. Go ahead and continue. But definitely,
maybe she's a witch.
Right? Yeah, right.
I'm joking, obviously, but back in the day, you'd be like, "No, that she's a witch," and then like all you need is a mob to get excited, and that's it. She would, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. Very, very good example.
but yeah, Linda Moulton Howe, I have a lot of respect for her. She's really trying, and this stuff doesn't come easy. So continuing, miscarriage and disappearing fetuses. Witches were believed to have the ability to cause miscarriages or fetuses to disappear. And if you look at the alien abduction phenomenon, a lot of the aliens will come down, and like we said, it's reproduction, right? Is the goal. So if they're implanting these babies in, they take the fetuses later, after like a month or two after conception, and that's kind of like a phenomenon that's happening now. So it's very, very similar.
Yeah, and again, a lot of parallels, right? We're definitely saying that. So maybe witchcraft, somehow these spells are maybe they have some way. Let's take the alien angle and say that maybe there's spells that somehow you can cast that call these the aliens to you. I don't know. This is crazy stuff. If it's somehow related one way or the other, maybe this is this crazy stuff. I don't know. Again, I don't know.
No, that's true. That's actually a good point. It's like we can go back through history, werewolves, ghosts, all that stuff, and you could just figure out it's all the same shit. It was all the same phenomenon at the end of the day. And we as humans just didn't know what we were looking at. And so it's like maybe the deities that people worship are just like aliens from another dimension. And it's the same thing as like the abduction phenomenon, which was witches, which was this, which was that. But we don't really know, right? So it's possible. It's a good point. Thank you.
Again, if we had the answers, we just tell the answers. We don't know. We're kind of going through the speculations here. Okay, so what else is a parallel then? So we're talking about witches, and that's how the show started. And now it's the succubus phenomenon with sleep paralysis, maybe, and how it kind of mirrors the alien abduction phenomenon. So what else kind of zips up that parallel there? What else you got there, Ash?
Yeah, there's they talk about circular meetings in woods and in the woods, like witches have their meetings, and then there's been stories where people wake up and they're kind of like the aliens kind of control your mind. It's very common supposedly with these abductions, and so like if you're standing in the woods with a bunch of other naked people, and someone else walks in on that, or let's say you get abducted and you get sent in there, and Janice down the street. Like the butcher's wife, you suspected her of being a witch, and you show up there, and she's a victim too, but you're like in paralysis, so you can't move. You're gonna think it's her fault, right? And then once you come to, you're gonna be like, she messed with me, and so it could be like this wave of abduction stuff that just kind of spurred this on, and so like moving forward, and we wanted to kind of do a show about this, by the way, but. The devil and the grays, the physical description of the devil, with like black eyes and like, or like reptilians or grays, it's kind of like demons, right? That's kind of the demon stuff that we are scared of. Our bodies have reactions to these visual images. Corey Good said something, and I don't know if he's legit or not, but he said something very interesting, which I would think would be true, is that no matter how many times he sees like an alien, he has a physical reaction and he has to calm himself down. And is that like coded into us from like of being abducted for so long? And also like, if back then, if you were being abducted, it also can mean death. It also could mean your peers kill you. So it's an interesting link, and it's really starting to paint a good picture to me, at least. I don't know.
Yeah, it certainly starts to feel that way, right? A lot of stuff here that it seems to have connections. And no matter what we talk about, there seems to be links here. Like, it doesn't really matter if it's werewolves or vampires, or it's even like, even when we talk about Bigfoot, we talk about, it seems silly, but the speculation came up in a conversation in the past that is it possible this is some sort of a interdimensional being, that kind of a fourth dimensional type thing that just kind of slips in and out of our timeline or our existence without realizing it, kind of sloppily, stupidly, or even calculated. Who knows? Like, these are the types of things we can't track it down, we can't figure it out, and it seems like it's like voodoo, like witchcraft, like technology that we can't explain. And so, yeah, I mean, it really doesn't matter whether it's shadow people, the black-eyed folks, black-eyed kids, that whole deal, right? Like we're going to do one on shadow people in the near future. We got a whole list of pretty good stuff to talk about. So we'll get to that stuff at this point, but at some point. But I mean, it seems that there are themes here where it doesn't really matter if it's demonic, if it's some sort of ancient folklore or mythology, or if it's some sort of aliens visiting from the future, like which would be us visiting our past, right? So we're the aliens, or actual aliens from different star systems. I mean, there's a lot there that seems to be kind of in lockstep parallel with a lot of the phenomena. So here's another one with the witches, the succubus, and then possibly aliens. So what else? What other parallels are there? Ash, you got some more?
No, and those are good points. Like, it could be an AI that has concealed itself, that some other civilization created, and it conceals itself in some sort of advanced technology, dimensional shifting, because it has infinite power based on its technology, and it sends its like drones to harvest bio DNA from all over from the universe to create physical body robots on its behalf. Like, you can reverse engineer this right back to science, and it'll make sense. So it's kind of making that connection, and it's interesting. It's and that's what we like to do here. We try to connect the dots, right? We don't know if those dots are true, but I'm sure we've probably we've been right a few times, but God, I don't know which one it is.
Yeah, so, exactly.
It's like we probably got it, but like, which one is it? I don't know.
If we exactly right, there's so many options here that probably a combination of them are correct, but which ones is beyond us. That's why we have you guys. Lemon, what's up? Thanks for showing up. We got Darius with the moo and the cow. There you go. That's his intro. That's his outro. The cattle mutilation. What's up, Nikki? What's up, Nikki on Facebook says the forest is the temple. And so we have some Cernunnos, I think is his name, like the god of the forest, like an ancient god of the forest, and maybe these rituals happen right outside in particular areas. Maybe some similar thing to the crop circle phenomena, right? Who knows? Like, here's the thing, I don't know. The forest is the temple. That's a pretty deep. Like, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words, and that's deep. Like, could do a whole show just on that. That's pretty crazy stuff.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, right. Let's see. Sherry says have to remain neutral at all times, and I hope to buy. I hope to be that. But exactly, I agree with that 100%. It's like if you can manifest things with your intentions, then if you're off the rails, you could create terrible things, right? You could, on accident, even just with your attitude, with your shitty attitude, right? Like just saying take intentions and make them synonymous with spells, and then a shitty attitude means that you're creating your own misery, right? Crazy stuff to think about this.
No, and I've experienced that. That was what I was like freaking out just a little bit earlier. I'm not scared, but it's kind of interesting if you study like the entrepreneur stuff. And I've messed with that stuff, and I've had some really weird results, and I'm like, wow, this stuff works. And is this like, where do these things cross section? What is that cross section with witchcraft? Where does witchcraft and the secret cross reference with aliens? And so there's one last thing on the list, and then we can kind of close the book on this. Let's get this done with. So the last thing on the list is the associations with bright lights in the sky. Well, I think we all know what that is, right? So both Satan and aliens are associated with bright lights in the sky. Satan was said to be the brightest angel in the sky before he fell to earth for rebelling against God. And then obviously alien abductions, UFOs, so there's this David Hufford's book, The Terror That Comes at Night. I don't know if it's completely correlated, but this blog is kind of like leading up to that. So that is you do not want to read that in bed. Holy shit. Like, look at that cover. Like, no, thank you.
Yeah, that's pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff there. Let's see. What's up, King Rocallion? I see there on Twitch. Thanks for showing up. Here we go. Here's a good one. We get people making too many ass jokes, but check this out. Penny says, Loving Ash tonight. He's on fire. On fire, Ash. There you go, buddy.
Yeah,
we got
you
some
might
love.
want to get that looked at. Hey,
Oh, burn. Double burn, triple burn.
Ash
All
on
right.
fire.
Pretty good stuff. Exactly. Ash on fire. Preparation H. All right. Okay. So see, the compliment, we still turn into the ass joke. We can't help ourselves. Okay. So at the end of it, like we got a few minutes left for you guys. So if you want to do type of things, we'll read what you got to say. And we got some more we can talk about. We can circle back and go to some of the other witchcraft stuff. But what do you think? Do you think there's a correlation between where we started with the witchcraft, the Wiccan, just like it was stated that the forest is the temple in the chat there, and some sort of a nighttime phenomenon with the succubus and the aliens and the abduction phenomenon? Like, does it all fit, or are we making something of nothing here? I think, and again, this is the point, right? The point of the whole show is for the conversation. We don't know the answers to these things. If we did, we'd have a list, we'd read it, we'd be overdone in 5 minutes. And we'd probably be glowing and floating. So, if you don't have that proof of glowing and floating, well, then you probably shouldn't listen to people that have all the answers, right? Because nobody has all the answers, damn it. But we sure have a lot of questions. And so...
Lots of them. Holy shit.
Lots of them, exactly. And they keep coming. And in the end, again, it doesn't matter what we think. It matters what you think. Hopefully some evidence here you heard or maybe got to think about that you hadn't thought about before. Because, again, that's why we're here. That's what we do. Hopefully that's what we do. Hopefully we do it well. So what do you think then, Ash? Given that the aliens, the sleep paralysis has an incubus, succubus connection and an alien abduction thing, what do you think? Do you think history got it mixed up maybe? Or do you think that maybe it's two different entities doing something similar and maybe triggering a sleep paralysis in our brain? It's like they tickle the part of our brain knowing that we'll freeze and they can just come in and do what they want, right? Kind of the same sort of thing, just two different plans of attack using similar strategies. I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, before we started Witches, I was like, oh, Witches, that'll be fun. And, quotes, fun. It'll be fun. Well, it'll be kind of silly. Supernatural stuff is kind of viewed in almost like a horror movie kind of lens. But as we kind of dug into it, it was like, wow, it was a little bit more eye-opening than it kind of hit home a little harder than I thought I was going to. And I actually, I'm the alien guy. I love alien stuff. I'm all about it. Mike has to yell at me and be like, hey man, let's take a break from aliens. I'm like, no.
I'm like,
the people want it.
Seriously. We finished the show and Ash is like, all right, let's do this alien from... I'm like, dude, again? Still? Come on, man.
Dude, guys,
there's other shit to talk about.
No, bro. I got 6 alien shows lined up, at least. I got all kinds of alien stuff. So I know you guys like it. We'll space it out. But it's kind of funny. You're the one who came in with the alien angle. I kind of eye rolled. I was like, oh, yeah, okay. But now that we're looking at it, yeah, man, it's kind of funny. Back in the day, people didn't know what the hell they were looking at half the time. And this is kind of one of the reasons I do the show, guys. We don't know. We don't know. And I have this regret, like I'm gonna die and I'm not gonna know. I'm not gonna know what the universe is. I'm not gonna know what aliens are, and is any of this stuff real? And it's crazy, and I'm excited to just be here and kind of trying to figure it out with you guys and talk about it. And I've read a lot of comments. A lot of people kind of know some stuff that I don't, and you guys should call in. And this is a more interesting topic than I thought it was going to be. It's really interesting, and it's like, again, yeah, where does one thing end and the other begin? Is it the AI? When you do DMT, do you meet the AI entities on the other side and their physical manifestations and their influence? Is all the things that we hear and we believe? Is it reptilian dinosaurs? Who knows, man? And
exactly.
It's good to have these conversations. Yeah.
I agree 100%. And so imagine this. So imagine a utopia, right? Like an actual utopia where entities and people and things have everything they need, right? So let's say let's take it to like a supernatural level. And you say that, okay, let's say there's a being that can traverse dimensions and has, doesn't have to worry about food or shelter or any of the things, and it has eternity or like let's say a virtual eternity to a human lifetime, and what would you do? Like how would you entertain yourself, right? Like you couldn't be the same thing every day, right? You might like, hey Ash, what's up? Let's assume that we're supernatural beings. Hey Ash, what's up? What are you doing this week? You want to go fuck with some humans? What do you think, man?
Right, yeah.
How you feeling about that?
Get like a whole section of populace to worship us.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Like I'll bet you we could do it this time in 6 weeks. You got me? 6 weeks. Let's do this. Right? Like, last time it took us 1,000 years. I think we can do it in 6 weeks, right? I mean, these are the things, right? And so if there are actually like entities in supernatural positions of like, what would they do? Like they would be gods to us. And if that's the case, it could be aliens, it could be demons, it could be angels, it could be anything in between, right? All the things we talk about. Some people completely believe that demons are aliens, 100%. Right, or vice versa. The aliens come as demons, or demons come as aliens, and so who knows, right? Again, so much ties together. It's crazy. The conversation is good, I think. I hope, and that's why we're here doing it. So I don't know. What would you do, Ash, if you had eternity, and you could transdimensional move and time travel and all the rest of this? Wouldn't right now, with the internet kind of being a thing and social media and fake news and like the world being upside down, and I mean all the crap that we're seeing right now, wouldn't right now be a fantastic time to come fuck with humans?
Definitely. That's a very good point, where it definitely feels like there's different factions and entities and stuff. And there's they say that we're kind of at this crossroads of like dystopia and utopia. For us as a civilization, and you can kind of almost feel you watch the news, you're like, what in the hell is going on? It's like you can kind of feel there's influence pulling you in one direction or another. And if you when I first got into this stuff, I thought it was going to be cut and dry science kind of stuff, physical kind of stuff, but as you get into it, there's some crazier souls and this and that, and it's like, man, is it that we know dick about the reality we live in? Is there so much more to learn, or are we or is this it, and we're just people just like to think themselves in circles? But I don't know, there's a lot of evidence out there. I kind of believe everything and then nothing all at the same time. That's where I am now. I believe everything and nothing.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a healthy mind. Is if you chase down one path too hard and too fast, you miss everything else. You miss the other possibilities. So it's weird, right? It's weird. And Sean, what's up? So he says you guys are talking about one of the stages of the Q on Star Trek. And if you guys aren't familiar, this is Star Trek: The Next Generation, which, by the way, Mrs. Strange loves to turn on to put her to sleep. But just FYI. But I love that show. I love the show. And so Q in Star Trek: The Next Generation is actually a supernatural entity that can time travel, that can manifest anything. Like basically omnipresent, omniscient, all powerful, like almost like a universal god. And so as a result of this, they don't need anything because they can snap their fingers and have it, right? Whether it's time travel or whatever it happens to be. But as a result, they end up screwing with humans, right? So they in the show they end up messing with Jean-Luc, the captain of the Star Trek: The Next Generation. It's good stuff. If you guys don't know about the Q phenomenon, and it's exactly like that. And that's kind of what I'm saying. Like you would end up so bored that you ended up screwing with sentient. Like imagine this. So let's say you came and you wanted to go back 65 million years ago, and you wanted to visit the dinosaurs and screw with some dinosaurs, right? Like you can only really have so much fun with that because scientifically speaking, they weren't really that smart. But us, boy, I tell you what, right? Like you could spook us into thinking Bigfoot was real, or aliens came, or the demons are here. You know what I mean? Like the amount of fun level you would have on a supernatural level screwing with people would be us. It would be modern humans for crying out loud.
I
right?
mean, if you watch humans, we're like the Jerry Springer planet for all they, like we're the entertainment. Because this planet is nuts. And we do this show. There is too much stuff to get through. There's so much going on all the time. Like every time we do a show about the same amount of links go to waste. And I have like 5 shows worth of links, and they're just collecting.
Hundreds of shows worth of links now.
Yeah, well,
exactly.
Mike has way more.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
It's like crazier than any science fiction movie is life. And it's kind of funny that Star Trek, it's an older show, right? But they're like, that's an advanced concept.
It is, right? So
concept.
have you heard of Q before that? Have you heard of Q?
Well, the whole QAnon thing.
Not
who's
QAnon.
to say that the QAnon
Q.
movement could be an extension? They
came
could
from
that as a brand. Yeah. Like there's some omnipotent being who's like interfering in human politics right now, or human. And it's like, hey, you know what? I want to do stuff, and we're going to call it Project Q, and then Anon is the rest of us. Who knows, man? Like it's interesting.
Do
like
check
parallels.
it out. If you're not familiar with Q, look up the episodes of Star Wars: The Next Generation, or sorry, Star Trek. Holy shit, blasphemy! Star Trek: The Next Generation, and look up the episodes with Q, because it's fascinating as hell. He shows up and starts messing with the crew of the Enterprise, right? Because he has a fascination with Jean-Luc Picard, the captain, and so like he knows he's a moral individual. He's like what you would say like the pinnacle of human evolution, right? Like he tries to do the right thing all the time. You know what I mean? He's like that guy. And so he shows up just to screw with him and to try and give him alternate realities and make him fool him into making particularly wrong decisions, right? And so it becomes like the meta game on a supernatural level. It's crazy. It's crazy stuff, sci-fi, and you see how sci-fi becomes supernatural. It's insane. It's insane. The good stuff, and good reference there, Sean. That's our favorite Canadian who couldn't get on Discord for whatever reason. But yeah, that Q on Star Trek, exactly. Pretty good stuff.
You know what's funny about that? It has parallels with Greek mythology, where there's these gods, and they fuck with us, right? They're like moving. They look at us like a chess piece, and they can't directly do X, Y, and Z. And maybe that's galactic law or interdimensional law, or maybe they just can't manifest here directly, but they influence humanity indirectly, and they play their little chess game, like who's winning, what faction, who's behind the Chinese, or maybe you favor a certain family because you genetically have mixed with them. You know what I'm saying? Like the Greek mythology goes along with it, a lot of what we're saying now, and again, a lot of it would manifest as witchcraft or magic or whatever.
Exactly.
So,
technology becomes magic. Yeah. Crazy stuff. Anyway, like we said, we could sit here and yammer on for hours and hours on end about kind of nothing, as you guys realize. But so what we're gonna do? If you go back, so we have some requests from some different types of shows. I see that, Penny, and some other people saying it too. It's good, right? It's good to talk about other things. And if you go back and look at the archive of the show, we've always done that. It's never just about aliens, right? It's kind of like my bread and butter, I would say, is probably more like the surveillance state. It would be, parapolitics. It would be the deep state. It would be, things like this. But obviously, Ash, his expertise is the stuff
he's like Tupperware.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, roses and gardening.
Yeah. Cookie recipes. Yeah. But aliens, obviously, exactly. The fucking aliens. And so that's what we're saying. We're again, we always tried to have a wide berth so we could talk about anything, because the problem is if you pigeonhole yourself as just the alien guys, then you're just the alien guys, right? Then we would just be the alien group, and that's not the case. We're much smarter than that. We think there are bigger possibilities than that. Think about that. We collectively believe, and I'm taking a liberty here by speaking for everybody, but there are bigger possibilities than aliens. Now think about that statement. That's large, right? Like that's the consequences.
Haven't aliens yet. You know
exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So the consequences are universal, and multi-universal, the multiverse. So I mean, like those are the things. So that's what we like to talk about. As far as human brains can comprehend, we like to push that envelope. So here we are. Here we are at the end. Here we are near the end.
We got a caller. We got our what do you call him?
I got him, Larry. Pastor Larry.
Yeah, Larry the servant. Let's do
we
it.
got him. Larry, you're on Trouble Minds with Ash and Mike. What's on your mind tonight, man? My man, how you doing? Testing, Larry. Is our Discord? No, I can't be broken. We're using it with.
Wait, no, but then I wouldn't hear him.
Yeah, exactly. Testing, Larry. You there, buddy? Testing, Larry. You there, buddy? Testing.
Oh,
all
maybe.
Right.
No, I hear you, Mike. It doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense. All right, so he's here, and it looks like he's broadcasting. He's got to figure something out over there. Okay, yeah, it doesn't make sense that we could use it, but you guys can't. So anyway, you're in there, Larry. When it works, keep on talking. Okay, let's see. What else do we got here? Robert, he says that there are people that believe that all mythical historical characters have alien genes. Thanks for showing up, Robert. Thanks for the great comment. And again, like how do you link that, or how do you not link that? I think that there's a lot of merit and good arguments you could make for that, like Thor or whatever, right? Like you pick any of the old ones, the old gods. We haven't even gone Lovecraft yet with the real old ones before the gods. We haven't even done that yet. We'll do that at some point too. But so we're talking about like terrestrial gods, right? Like say Thor or Loki or Zeus or Poseidon. We're talking about these types, the ancient gods, right? So yeah, I mean, I think you can make a case for any of that to have some sort of a alien genes. Good, great comment. Thanks, Robert. Let's see. Joe says, "What do you guys think about simulation theory?" Funny you should ask. We have a whole show on that. Go back check out our YouTube channel. Go to troubleminds.org. Click on the YouTube channel. It's on the top. We did a whole show. Simulation theory.
I got an answer. My theory is about that is yes.
Yes. All right.
That's it. Yes. No, I mean, who knows? Yeah, it's possible, and you could explain that everything that we're in a server. It's a very easy, cheap way to explain everything, right? It's possible and more improbable, right? So, who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure that's what your whole show was, right? Who knows?
Well, no. So do go check it out. It's a very long one because there's a lot to talk about. We talked about the double slit test. We talked about the particle.
Oh yeah.
Dual. What is it called? Wave particle duality is what it's called. So I mean, there's a lot of actual like quantum mechanics that fits with the simulation theory. And so if that's the case, right, either we don't understand quantum mechanics or maybe we do live in a simulation. That's the proof. So anyway, go check it out. It is there on the YouTube channel. I thought it was fantastic, but it was just me by myself. So, I'm a narcissistic asshole, and that's the way you think. That's the way you got to think. That's the way you got to think. Hey, right? You don't wake up in the morning and be like, all right, it's show night. I'm going to put on a shitty show tonight. You know what I mean? You're like, no, you're like, let's do this right.
We came out swinging tonight, guys. We did come out swinging tonight, and we had some new tech up, and unfortunately, we're not getting the caller stuff going, but we're gonna keep iterating on it. We'll keep trying to make it better, right?
Yeah. Christian says we should not respond to him. There you go. Check it out, Christian. He says it always comes down to the New World Order. Everything you have to talk anoint at the end of the day. I'm not sure what you mean there, but yeah, okay, there we go. I read your comment. Sorry, man. It can't read them all. Again, if you guys have to be on the show, we do it live for that reason. We can't read all the comments, but jump in the Discord. You can literally get in here with us and be on the show and say words and share it with everybody. So that's the best way. Because
and narcissistically listen to yourself over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. Like, right. Then you get to rewind it. Yeah, exactly. That's what Ash has done since we started. He hasn't done anything but rewound all the shows. He's like, damn, I was on fire that night. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I really need to get over it because my life is like falling to pieces. But as long as I have internet and a mic, I'm gonna be here. So
there you go. All right, perfect. All right, yeah, we're good. We're just making fun of ourselves. Okay, so so far so good. I think so far so good. In April we'll be 2 years doing this. So it's again the conversation continues. If you guys have show comments, if you guys want to, what would you say? Tell us what you want to hear about. Shows in the future, give us suggestions, any of that stuff. Please just join the Discord. It's the easiest way. Sure. Go to troubleminds.org, click the Discord link on the top right. You get in there, you can chat. You don't have to talk. It's a chat client and a voice client, and you can give us show suggestions of what to do in the future. And I want to make sure everybody knows this. I've said this all along. This will continue. This is an open platform for any one of you. If anybody out there is listening to this, you don't have to have a UFO blog to talk about this stuff. You don't have to be an expert in consciousness. You don't have to be any of this, okay? If you have something to say and you want to be on the show, you let me know. You contact us. We'll put you on here. That's it. And you don't have to carry the thing. Like you have a little piece of information you want to include. We'll make a show that fits, and we'll do a show, and you'll be on the show. And that's an open invite to every single one of you out there, okay? I just had somebody contact me on Twitter, say, hey, I want to be on the show. Sweet. Let's freaking do it, right? This is the thing. This is our show collectively. You don't have to be William Shatner or Elon Musk to be on this show, clearly, because they ignore the hell out of us. But you...
I thought you were going to insult me. You're going to be like... Since look, Ash is on the show, and then
I mean, shit. Since Ash is on the show, since Ash is on the show,
bar, guys.
Oh no, but you get it. I just want to make sure that it's clear. We've talked about this quite a lot. I know not everybody listens to every show. It's a ton of information, and if you parse all the information, you think we're nuts. You think we're insane. But hopefully, we encapsulate it, talk about it well, and hopefully, gives us something to think about. But yeah, the invitation is always open. TroubleMindsRadio@gmail. You can contact me. You can go to Discord, whatever, Twitter, you see it. They're all up on TroubleMinds.org, the official website. You can contact me 100 ways, and we'll get it going. So we've had Kelly on the show. We've had Todd on the show as co-host and different particular things, Anunnaki, or what was that? We did, I can see the skeletons on the thing, the forbidden archaeology. So, I mean, we've done lots of stuff with people coming on the show, and it's open to you. So just FYI, just want to point that out. You guys are the best. And thanks for listening and all that good stuff. Let's do the outro. What do you think? What do you think, Ash? What do you think, buddy?
Yeah, no, I think I'm reading the comments. I got in trouble for reading that out loud last time.
Don't read that one. Don't read that one.
I'm learning. I'm a slow learner, but I learn.
There we go.
But no, this is great. It's again, guys, we get to have a conversation. So you can't, if you went into work or like you meet, let's say you go on Meetup, you meet like, hi, I think souls are aliens. It's not gonna go well. But we can have these conversations here. I like the music. Should I lean in a little bit more?
Yeah, do it. Do it.
But yeah,
thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening about witches. I hope it was we kind of hit the angles and you learned a little bit. I learned a lot. So did Mike. And thanks for joining us on Troubled Minds. And we look forward to having our next show on Friday. Hope you'll be there.
There you go. I cut you off, Ash, because we got the echo. All right, so this is the end. And don't worry, the conversation continues. If you can't get enough, there's an archive of hundreds of hours of these types of conversations. Go back and check it out. TroubleMinds.org. There's our socials. All the shit's on YouTube. You can find all of it on YouTube. Free. Did I mention it's free? Hundreds of hours of hopefully entertaining talk for free. Don't go spend your money on bullshit. Hang out. Put on something comfortable. Put your headphones on and spend an afternoon with Troubled Minds. We appreciate that a lot. Thank you for sticking with us. We know it's a long show. We know it's a lot to talk about. We know sometimes we're way the F out there. It doesn't matter because somebody needs to say it. And so that's what we're doing. We're here saying it. We're here talking about it. And hopefully you're here to talk about it with us. So one more time. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. This song is Bam. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with your co-host, Ash, the reptilian from Mars. And we'll be back on Friday night, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. And we'll see you then. Thanks, guys. You're the best. Do all the things, share all the things, like all the things, help us beat the technocracy. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your family that won't think you're crazy, and we'll see you next time. From our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night.
Bye, y'all.